Beneath the dust of ancient cities lies a forgotten world, its mysteries waiting to be uncovered. What secrets of innovation, culture, and decline could the ruins of the Indus Valley reveal about the rise and fall of civilizations? In the vast expanse of ancient history, nestled between the towering mountains and the fertile plains of what is now modern-day Pakistan and India, a great civilization slowly began to take form. This was a time when humanity was on the cusp of change, moving from nomadic life to settled communities. Along the banks of the Indus River, in what would later become known as the Indus Valley Civilization, life began to shift from the ancient ways to something entirely new. The land itself, with its rich soil and abundant water sources, was a perfect cradle for early human settlements. The Indus River, fed by the melting snow from the Himalayas, flowed through a wide, fertile plain, its waters nourishing the earth and creating a thriving environment for agriculture. The river, once an unyielding force of nature, had become a lifeline for the people who settled along its banks. Over thousands of years, this river valley would witness the rise of one of the world's earliest and most enigmatic urban civilizations. It was in this land, where the fertile soil met the river's unpredictable floods, that the earliest agricultural practices began to take shape. The people of the Indus Valley, though no different from the countless others across the world at the time, began to harness the land's power. They cultivated wheat, barley, and peas, and began to domesticate animals such as cattle, sheep, and goats. These early farmers had no way of knowing they were setting the stage for something much grander. The act of planting seeds in the ground, in a way, symbolized their connection to the earth and to each other. It was here, in these early settlements, that communities first began to form, slowly evolving from small clusters of homes to larger, more organized villages. Over time, these agricultural settlements grew and expanded, and with it, the need for new systems of organization. The people of the Indus Valley began to form complex, interconnected societies, establishing a network of trade, craftsmanship, and governance. Their ability to cultivate the land and produce surplus food allowed these early communities to flourish, creating the foundation for the great cities that would later rise from the soil. This marked the beginning of the Indus Valley Civilization, a civilization that would leave behind a legacy of urban sophistication, technological advancements, and cultural richness that still resonates today. The rise of agriculture in this fertile land marked a turning point in human history. What began as simple settlements near the Indus River would eventually give way to bustling cities, each with its own intricacies and mysteries. But long before the great cities rose, there were the farmers, the builders, and the dreamers who set the first stones of a civilization that would stand the test of time, leaving behind only whispers of their once great achievements. As the sun dipped behind the distant mountains, the people of the Indus Valley, unaware of the monumental legacy they would leave behind, continued their daily lives, shaping the world in ways they could never have imagined. As the years passed, the simple farming communities near the banks of the Indus River began to grow in both size and complexity. The fertile plains, nourished by the river's seasonal floods, allowed these early settlements to flourish. What once began as small clusters of homes, surrounded by fields of grain and grazing livestock, soon began to take on the characteristics of something much larger, something that would come to be known as urbanization. The slow but steady growth of agriculture played a vital role in this transformation. As the people of the Indus Valley perfected their methods of crop cultivation, including the irrigation of fields and the rotation of crops, they were able to produce an abundance of food. The river's flow, harnessed through an emerging network of canals and wells, provided a reliable source of water. This allowed the farmers not only to feed their families, but also to support larger populations. It was this surplus that would be the foundation of urbanization, for with it came the ability to build cities. In the early stages, small farming villages spread along the river's path, their people living in modest, mud-brick homes. The domestication of animals, such as cattle, goats, and sheep, had allowed these communities to thrive, providing essential resources like milk, wool, and meat. The presence of domesticated animals also meant that the labor force was expanded. Oxen were used to plow the fields, while other animals helped with the transportation of goods. These advancements allowed the people to shift from subsistence farming to surplus production, enabling them to trade not only food but other goods such as pottery, textiles, and tools. As the agricultural systems evolved, so too did the social structures of these communities. The need for organization in trade, resource management, and defense led to the rise of leaders and, eventually, governance. What began as simple rural villages soon began to exhibit signs of the first true cities. Settlements began to grow in size, and with growth came the necessity of planning and infrastructure. Streets began to be laid out in grids, homes became more standardized, and communal buildings like granaries and workshops began to take shape. Public spaces and marketplaces emerged, where people could come together, exchange goods, and discuss matters of common interest. The Indus people had begun to realize the power of collective effort. Each community, though distinct, became more interdependent, relying on one another for trade, resources, and protection. The once small and isolated farming settlements began to weave themselves into a fabric of interconnected cities, each contributing to the larger whole. The development of advanced cities marked a pivotal moment in human history, where people transitioned from simple, self-sustaining communities to complex urban centers. As the sun rose and set over the Indus River, these early cities began to take on their own rhythm, steadily moving toward a future shaped by innovation, organization, and cooperation. It was the dawn of urbanization, and with it came the promise of a new era. Harappa, one of the two greatest cities of the Indus Valley Civilization, stood as a beacon of advancement in the ancient world. Alongside Mohenjo-Daro, it represented the zenith of urban development, a city unlike any other of its time. Harappa's prominence was not only defined by its size and grandeur, but also by its meticulous planning and organization. When archaeologists first unearthed this ancient marvel in the 19th century, they were stunned by the city's layout, which seemed to echo the sophisticated designs of much later civilizations. The city was laid out with precision, its streets arranged in a grid pattern, intersecting at right angles, creating a level of organization that suggested a highly advanced knowledge of urban planning. The houses were uniformly built, made of fired brick, with some even featuring private wells and drainage systemsa, clear indication of the concern for sanitation and public health. The city was divided into two main parts: the citadel, raised on a platform, and the lower city. The citadel housed the public buildings and warehouses, while the lower city contained the residential areas. This separation might have signified a social hierarchy or simply reflected a practical division of space for different purposes. At the heart of Harappa's development was its trade network, which stretched far beyond the boundaries of the city itself. Positioned strategically near the banks of the Ravi River, Harappa became a thriving commercial hub. The city's citizens engaged in extensive trade with distant regions, exchanging goods such as beads, pottery, and metalwork. Evidence of Harappa's trade links with regions as far as Mesopotamia suggests a highly sophisticated level of interaction. It was through this extensive network that Harappa exchanged not only material goods, but also ideas, technologies, and cultural practices. The trade routes connected Harappa to a world much larger than its own borders. From the Arabian Sea to the mountains of Central Asia, Harappan merchants and traders navigated vast distances to bring foreign goods to their city. The discovery of seals bearing Harappan script in distant lands and Mesopotamian artifacts found in Harappa itself indicate a dynamic exchange of culture and knowledge. The people of Harappa, much like their counterparts in Mohenjo-Daro, traded in precious metals, stones, and textiles. establishing their city as a vital part of the ancient world's economy. Harappa's cultural richness was reflected in its artifacts, which reveal a deep connection to both local traditions and foreign influences. The city was a melting pot of artistic expression, where craftsmanship in pottery, jewelry, and sculpture flourished. The beads and seals discovered in the ruins suggest a strong tradition of artistic production, with intricate designs that spoke to both utility and beauty. Yet, despite the evidence of extensive trade, there remains much mystery surrounding the Harappan script, a written language yet to be fully deciphered, which only adds to the enigmatic nature of this first great city. Harappa, through its design, organization, and trade connections, was a testament to the ingenuity and foresight of the Indus Valley people. The city, once bustling with life, served as a crucial link in the web of early civilizations, shaping the course of history in ways that would resonate for millennia. Mohenjo-Daro, the counterpart to Harappa, stood as the beating heart of the Indus Valley Civilization. The two cities, while similar in many ways, showcased the diversity of urban development in the region. Mohenjo-Daro, like its sister city, was a marvel of ancient urban planning, offering a glimpse into the minds of people who valued both order and functionality. While Harappa was known for its trade and administrative structures, Mohenjo-Daro was often seen as the center of cultural and technological innovation. As with Harappa, it was laid out with remarkable precision, with streets and alleys arranged in a grid pattern, yet it was the city's attention to infrastructure that truly set it apart. The most impressive aspect of Mohenjo-Daro was its elaborate drainage system, which was far ahead of its time. The streets were lined with covered drains, which were used to carry waste away from homes and public spaces, ensuring the city remained clean and hygienic. This remarkable engineering feat indicated a deep understanding of public health and sanitation, something that would not be seen again in many parts of the world until centuries later. The careful construction of these drainage systems revealed the city's commitment to creating an environment where its citizens could live in relative comfort and safety. The drains were meticulously planned, with access points for cleaning, and they were connected to individual homes, making it clear that this was not a haphazard attempt at waste management, but a comprehensive city-wide system. Mohenjo-Daro was also home to some of the most iconic features of the Indus Valley Civilization: the public baths. The Great Bath, a large, rectangular structure, is one of the most striking features of the city. It is believed to have served a ceremonial or ritualistic function, possibly used for purification or bathing as part of religious practices. The bath was an elaborate structure with a sophisticated water supply and drainage system that ensured the pool remained filled with fresh water. The attention to water management in this bath, as well as in the wider city, was symbolic of the Indus Valley's deep reverence for water and its importance in daily life. Water was an essential resource, not just for drinking and bathing, but for agriculture and trade as well. Mohenjo-Daro's location near the Indus River made it an ideal center for managing this precious resource. The city's water systems, which included wells, reservoirs, and wells for individual houses, showcased an advanced understanding of hydrology. The water was sourced from the river, yet the people of Mohenjo-Daro were also adept at storing and conserving water, particularly in times of drought. This ability to manage water resources efficiently was crucial to the success of the city, and it allowed Mohenjo-Daro to thrive for centuries in a region where resources could be scarce. Mohenjo-Daro was not just a city built for convenience, but a place where advanced thinking and spiritual practices intertwined. The city's layout, its intricate water systems, and its dedication to sanitation were a testament to the ingenuity of its people. The city stood as a shining example of what a well-planned, thoughtful civilization could achieve, offering valuable lessons in urban development, public health, and environmental sustainability. The rise of Mohenjo-Daro as the heart of the Indus Valley Civilization marked a critical point in human history, where innovation and culture blossomed. leaving an indelible mark on the ancient world. Life in the Indus Valley was marked by a unique blend of practicality and cultural richness. The bustling streets of cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro would have been filled with people from all walks of life, each contributing to the functioning of this highly organized society. Daily activities in the cities were centered around work, family, and community. In the marketplaces, traders peddled goods from far and wide, offering products such as beads, textiles, pottery, and precious metals. Artisans worked in specialized workshops, crafting intricate jewelry, pottery, and tools, while farmers tended to their crops and livestock in the fertile plains surrounding the cities. The presence of skilled labor and a thriving trade network indicates that the economy was diverse and robust, supporting a variety of professions. Families in the Indus Valley lived in well-constructed houses, often organized in neighborhoods with their own shared communal spaces. These homes were often made of brick, with flat roofs and small courtyards that served as gathering places for family activities. Inside, the spaces were designed for both privacy and shared family time. The layout of homes and the city itself suggests a high degree of planning, indicating that family and communal life were central to the social fabric of the civilization. Despite the well-organized urban spaces, there were few indications of large palaces or monumental structures for the elite, which leads many scholars to believe that the Indus Valley Civilization may have had a relatively egalitarian social structure, at least compared to other ancient civilizations. There is limited evidence of rigid class divisions in the Indus Valley, which makes it difficult to determine the exact social hierarchy. However, archaeological findings suggest that wealth and status were not as pronounced in the Indus Valley as they were in other contemporary civilizations, like Egypt or Mesopotamia. Unlike the grand tombs of Egyptian pharaohs or the monumental palaces of Mesopotamian kings, the Indus Valley cities lacked obvious signs of extreme wealth or ostentation. While there were specialized workers and evidence of trade with distant regions, the material culture suggests that the Indus Valley people placed a premium on functionality and communal well-being over extravagant displays of wealth. Religion in the Indus Valley appears to have been an integral part of daily life, though little is known about specific beliefs or deities due to the lack of deciphered written records. There is evidence of ritual objects, such as seals depicting animals, deities, and symbols that may have had spiritual significance. These artifacts suggest a complex religious or spiritual framework, though it likely varied across the region. The presence of large public baths, like the Great Bath in Mohenjo-daro, implies that water played a significant role in purification rituals, possibly related to a belief in the importance of cleanliness or sacredness. Small figurines, likely representing fertility deities, further point to the central role of spirituality in everyday life. Daily rituals, including offerings, prayers, and personal cleanliness, would have been essential aspects of the Indus people's existence. The fact that these practices are so closely linked with the urban layout and material culture reveals that religion and daily life were deeply intertwined. In this society, religious devotion and the collective well-being of the community likely took precedence over individual wealth or power, creating a society where everyday life was shaped by a shared sense of purpose and spiritual commitment. The lack of monumental religious buildings suggests a more decentralized religious practice, with people possibly worshipping in smaller community spaces, in homes, or at natural sites. The seamless integration of daily life and spirituality is a key feature that defines the essence of the Indus Valley Civilization. The script of the Indus Valley remains one of the most fascinating and elusive aspects of this ancient civilization. Found inscribed on seals, pottery, and other artifacts, the symbols of the Indus script are unlike those of any known language, presenting a mystery that has baffled scholars for over a century. Unlike the well-documented writing systems of Egypt or Mesopotamia, The Indus script offers no clear link to any known language, making it particularly difficult to decipher. The symbols are generally short, often appearing in a linear form, and are sometimes accompanied by illustrations of animals, deities, or abstract shapes. These inscriptions, found primarily in the cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, are thought to have been used for administrative purposes, such as recording trade transactions or marking ownership, but the precise function remains uncertain. Over the years, many attempts have been made to decode the script. Linguists, archaeologists, and computer scientists have employed various techniques, from statistical analysis to comparing the symbols with known ancient languages. Despite the effort, a breakthrough has yet to occur. One of the challenges in understanding the Indus script lies in the limited number of inscriptions that have survived, as well as their brevity. Many of the seals and tablets that contain the script are small, and the inscriptions are often too short to provide enough context for a full understanding of their meaning. This limited sample makes it difficult to identify patterns or correlate symbols with known words or concepts. Unlike the Egyptian hieroglyphs, which had bilingual inscriptions alongside them, the Indus Valley script does not have a similar companion text to guide researchers. Compounding the difficulty of deciphering the script is the absence of a Rosetta Stone-like artifact. In the case of Egypt, the discovery of the Rosetta Stone, with its inscription in 3 scripts, allowed scholars to finally crack the code of hieroglyphs. In contrast, the Indus script has no such key to unlock its mysteries. Some researchers have even suggested that the script may represent a pictographic or ideographic language, where symbols are used to convey concepts rather than phonetic sounds. Others have speculated that it could be a Proto-Sanskrit script predating the known languages of South Asia. However, no clear evidence has emerged to support any of these theories definitively. The linguistic challenges of deciphering the Indus script are further complicated by the possibility that it may represent more than one language. It is possible that the Indus Valley Civilization encompassed a diverse population, speaking different languages or dialects, and that the script was adapted to represent multiple linguistic groups. This would make it even harder to pin down a single meaning for the symbols. Additionally, the absence of any known descendants of the Indus script complicates the task of translation. While the languages of Egypt and Mesopotamia left clear legacies, the Indus script has no known surviving offshoot, leaving researchers with little to build on. The mystery of the Indus Valley script endures, and while progress has been made, the full meaning of the symbols remains out of reach. Until a breakthrough is made, the script will continue to intrigue scholars and enthusiasts alike, standing as one of the most enduring enigmas of the ancient world. The key to unlocking the secrets of the Indus Valley may lie in a future discovery, but for now, it remains a tantalizing puzzle that keeps the ancient civilization shrouded in mystery. The engineering and architectural feats of the Indus Valley Civilization stand as a testament to the advanced technological knowledge of its people. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, with their meticulously planned layouts and remarkable infrastructure, reveal a society that not only understood the principles of urbanization, but also applied them with precision and foresight. The most striking feature of their architecture is the use of uniform, kaolin-fired bricks. These bricks, made from clay, were fired at high temperatures to create strong, durable materials that could withstand the passage of time. The standardization of brick size across the cities suggests a well-organized society with central planning. Walls, houses, and public buildings were all constructed using these bricks, showcasing a level of consistency in design that points to a sophisticated approach to urban construction. Water management was another area where the Indus Valley people excelled. Both Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro are famous for their advanced drainage and sewage systems, which were well ahead of their time. The cities were laid out with a grid pattern, with streets aligned at right angles and drainage channels running along each street. These channels were covered with brick lids and connected to a sophisticated system of drains that carried waste away from the residential areas to be disposed of outside the city. This system not only provided sanitation, but also helped in managing stormwater, a crucial factor in the flood-prone region. In some areas, private homes even had their own bathrooms, with drains leading directly to the public sewage system, reflecting a level of civic responsibility that was rare in the ancient world. The streets themselves were well planned, wide, and regularly spaced, allowing for easy movement and trade. The layout of the cities suggests that the urban planners had a deep understanding of the needs of a growing population. The streets in Mohenjo-Daro were particularly wide, with some measuring over 10 meters across, allowing carts and pedestrians to move without congestion. Public spaces and markets were integrated into the city design, providing communal areas for social interaction and commerce. The planning also accounted for the natural environment, with buildings positioned to take advantage of the cooler, shaded areas, minimizing the impact of the hot, dry climate. Artisans played a crucial role in the development of the cities, contributing to their architecture, engineering, and cultural life. The skill of the craftsmen is evident in the fine jewelry, pottery, and tools they produced. The evidence of advanced metallurgy is found in the production of copper, bronze, and even early forms of iron. These artisans were not only responsible for the day-to-day objects used by the people, but also for the artistic and symbolic elements that filled the cities. The presence of expertly crafted seals, statues, and figurines suggests a thriving artisan class that was deeply integrated into the cultural and economic fabric of the civilization. The level of sophistication in the engineering and architecture of the Indus Valley Civilization, a remarkable achievement for its time. The careful planning, use of materials, and innovative water management systems demonstrate a society with a high degree of technical knowledge and organizational skill. The Indus Valley cities, with their enduring structures and advanced infrastructure, offer a glimpse into the ingenuity of a people who mastered the art of urban living long before the rise of other great civilizations. The Indus Valley Civilization flourished as a thriving hub of trade, with its cities acting as crucial nodes in a vast network that spanned not only the Indian subcontinent, but also reached as far as Mesopotamia, the Persian Gulf, and Afghanistan. The evidence of such extensive trade is found in the numerous seals, beads, and materials that have been uncovered at archaeological sites, many of which originate from far-off lands. The presence of materials like lapis lazuli, a semi-precious stone from Afghanistan, and carnelian beads from the Persian Gulf region suggests that the Indus people were well connected to distant commercial centers. These goods were often exchanged for agricultural products, textiles, and pottery, reflecting the diversity of commodities that moved through the region. Trade in the Indus Valley was not limited to luxury items. It was also integral to the daily functioning of the civilization. The Indus people engaged in both local and long-distance trade, exchanging goods like grain, livestock, pottery, and woven textiles. The evidence of specialized workshops in cities like Mohenjo-Daro points to a highly organized economy where specific goods were produced for trade. Local markets played a vital role in the economic landscape, with street vendors and artisan workshops providing both for the domestic needs and the broader commercial exchange that fueled the economy. The bustling marketplaces likely served as venues for the exchange of a wide variety of goods, from everyday necessities to luxury items for the elites. The long-distance trade networks established by the Indus Valley people were some of the most advanced in the ancient world. Archaeologists have found evidence of maritime trade routes that connected the ports of the Indus Valley with distant regions. Seals with inscriptions from the Indus script have been discovered in Mesopotamia, while artifacts from Sumer have been found in the Indus cities, showing clear links between the two civilizations. These connections facilitated the exchange of not only goods, but also cultural and technological ideas. Trade with the Persian Gulf and regions like Oman and Bahrain introduced new materials and goods to the Indus, further enriching the civilization's economy. The structure of the economy in the Indus Valley appears to have been carefully planned, with centralized authorities overseeing the distribution of resources. The evidence of standardized weights and measures suggests that there was a system in place to regulate trade and ensure consistency across the civilization. This level of organization hints at a form of economic planning, where officials likely kept records of goods, transactions, and resources. The presence of granaries in cities like Mohenjo-Daro, often found in proximity to the main urban centers, also supports the idea of centralized control, as these structures would have been essential for storing surplus grain for trade or distribution in times of scarcity. The economic structure of the Indus Valley Civilization, with its integration of long-distance trade, centralized oversight, and highly organized production, was a testament to the advanced nature of the civilization. As a critical player in the trade networks that spanned the ancient world, the Indus Valley demonstrated a level of economic sophistication that ensured its prosperity for centuries. The art and craftsmanship of the Indus Valley Civilization provide a glimpse into the sophisticated culture that thrived within its cities. The people of the Indus Valley were not only skilled traders and engineers, but also master artisans whose works have captivated archaeologists and historians alike. One of the most notable aspects of their art is the pottery, which was not only practical but often beautifully crafted. Pottery found in Indus Valley settlements ranges from simple utilitarian vessels to intricate works of art. The pottery was typically made using the wheel, and many pieces are adorned with delicate geometric patterns, animal motifs, and even human figures, which suggest that art was woven into daily life. These designs reflect a culture that valued both function and aesthetics, creating everyday items that were also visually pleasing. In addition to pottery, seals are another hallmark of Indus Valley craftsmanship. These small, square or rectangular stones were often inscribed with the Indus script and depicted a variety of images, including animals like unicorns, elephants, and rhinoceroses, as well as divine and human figures. The seals were likely used for trade and administrative purposes, serving as a form of identification or marking ownership. The intricate carvings on these seals demonstrate the high level of skill possessed by the craftsmen, who used a technique of engraving to create detailed and precise images. These seals, found in many archaeological sites, suggest that the Indus Valley people were deeply invested in symbolism, using their art to convey messages and signify authority. Sculptures from the Indus Valley are also significant, though fewer have survived in comparison to pottery and seals. The most famous of these is the bronze statue known as the Dancing Girl, found at Mohenjo-Daro. This sculpture, which depicts a young woman in a lively dance pose, captures the grace and artistry of the people of the Indus Valley. The use of bronze in the sculpture indicates advanced metallurgical skills, as the casting of bronze requires a high level of technical expertise. Such works of art not only highlight the skill of the artisans, but also provide insight into the cultural and social life of the time, as they may represent elements of religious or ceremonial significance. The symbols and motifs used in Indus Valley art are rich with cultural meaning. The recurring image of the bull, often seen on seals and pottery, may have held religious or symbolic importance, representing strength or fertility. The presence of geometric patterns, such as spirals and grids, suggests an appreciation for order and symmetry, perhaps reflecting the highly organized nature of Indus society. The motifs used in their art often point to a culture deeply connected to nature, with animals, plants, and natural forces depicted in various forms. These symbols may have held spiritual or ritual significance, linking the people of the Indus Valley to their environment and the divine. Through their pottery, seals, sculptures, and symbols, the people of the Indus Valley expressed their creativity, their connection to the natural world, and their complex social and religious beliefs. These artistic creations offer us a window into the lives of a civilization that, though ancient and mysterious, left behind a lasting cultural legacy. The art and craftsmanship of the Indus Valley Civilization provide a remarkable insight into the sophisticated culture that flourished in its cities. These people were not only adept traders and engineers, but also exceptional artisans, whose creations continue to fascinate scholars and historians. One of the most significant aspects of their craftsmanship is their pottery, which blended practicality with artistry. Found across Indus Valley settlements, pottery ranged from simple, utilitarian vessels to highly intricate decorative pieces. These items were often shaped using a potter's wheel, with many pieces featuring delicate geometric patterns, animal figures, and even depictions of human forms. This suggests that art was an integral part of daily life, serving both functional and aesthetic purposes. The detailed designs reflect a culture that valued both utility and beauty, transforming everyday objects into works of art. Seals, another hallmark of Indus Valley craftsmanship, offer further insight into the artistic and cultural achievements of the civilization. These small, square, or rectangular stone pieces were engraved with the Indus script and often depicted a range of images, including animals such as unicorns, rhinoceroses, and elephants, as well as human and divine figures. Seals were likely used for administrative or trade purposes, marking goods or indicating ownership. The precision and detail in the carvings point to a high level of skill in engraving and craftsmanship. These seals, which have been found at multiple archaeological sites, highlight the symbolic significance of art in the Indus Valley. Serving as tools for communication and expressing authority, Indus Valley sculptures, though less numerous than pottery and seals, are equally important. One of the most famous is the Dancing Girl bronze statue discovered at Mohenjo-Daro. This sculpture, showing a young woman in a lively, dancing pose, captures the elegance and dynamic movement of the Indus people. The use of bronze indicates advanced metallurgical skills, as bronze casting requires considerable expertise. These sculptures offer a glimpse into the social and cultural life of the time, potentially representing elements of religion, rituals, or celebratory events. Symbols and motifs featured in Indus Valley art also carry rich cultural meanings. The bull, often seen on pottery and seals, could symbolize strength or fertility, suggesting its importance in religious or spiritual practices. Geometric designs like spirals and grids indicate an appreciation for order and symmetry, which might mirror the highly organized nature of Indus society. Many motifs point to a culture deeply attuned to the natural world, with representations of animals, plants, and celestial forces. These symbols likely held spiritual significance, connecting the people of the Indus Valley with their environment and the divine. Through their pottery, seals, sculptures, and symbolic motifs, the Indus Valley people express their creativity, social structures, and spiritual beliefs. These artistic expressions provide a window into a civilization that, though shrouded in mystery, left behind a profound cultural legacy. The religious practices of the Indus Valley Civilization remain one of the most intriguing aspects of their culture, largely because much of their spiritual life remains shrouded in mystery due to the inability to fully decipher their written script. Yet, through archaeological findings, including seals, sculptures, and artifacts, a picture begins to emerge of a society deeply connected to religious beliefs and rituals that likely influence their daily lives. One of the most prominent features of Indus Valley religion appears to be a deep reverence for nature, with many symbols and artifacts suggesting worship centered on fertility, animals, and possibly divine figures. Among the most striking aspects of their religious practices are the frequent depictions of animals on seals and pottery. The presence of the unicorn, an enigmatic creature, and animals like bulls, elephants, and rhinoceroses suggest that these creatures held symbolic or spiritual significance. The bull, in particular, seems to have been a potent symbol, often appearing in art, and possibly representing fertility, strength, or virility. These animals may have been linked to fertility rituals or agricultural practices, showing the close connection between the Indus people and their environment. Such depictions may indicate that the people of the Indus Valley worshipped or revered certain animals, seeing them as representatives of divine power or manifestations of natural forces. Alongside animal imagery, the Indus Valley people also seem to revere fertility symbols. The goddess-like figurines discovered at various sites, often with exaggerated feminine features, are thought to represent fertility goddesses. These figurines, found in both Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, may have been used in religious rites that aim to ensure good harvests, plentiful livestock, or population growth. The fertility motif is prevalent across many ancient cultures, and the Indus Valley appears to have been no different in associating their spiritual life with the cyclical rhythms of nature and reproduction. Theories about the deities and rituals of the Indus Valley are still speculative, but several interpretations have emerged. Some scholars believe that the Indus Valley religion was polytheistic, with multiple gods and goddesses representing different aspects of life and nature. These deities may have been connected to elements such as water, fertility, and animals, suggesting a religion that deeply integrated the natural world into its spiritual beliefs. Other theories suggest that the Indus Valley might have practiced animism, where natural objects, such as rivers, mountains, and trees, were believed to possess spiritual significance. Rituals likely played an important role in the religious practices of the Indus Valley, but the exact nature of these rituals is difficult to reconstruct. The discovery of large public baths, particularly the Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro, has led some researchers to hypothesize that water played a central role in their spiritual life, possibly in purification rituals or ceremonial bathing. This emphasis on water, along with the presence of intricate drainage systems, might indicate that cleanliness and water were seen as sacred or necessary for spiritual purity. While much remains unknown about the specifics of the Indus Valley religion, the artifacts and symbols unearthed offer a glimpse into a complex belief system that likely played a vital role in shaping the culture and daily practices of one of the world's earliest urban civilizations. The connection between their religious practices and the natural world, as well as their reverence for fertility and animals, underscores the deep spirituality that defined life in the Indus Valley. The Indus Valley Civilization thrived not only on its agricultural success and urban innovation, but also through its involvement in the trade of luxury goods, which played a significant role in its economic prosperity. Luxury items, such as beads, gems, and metals, were highly valued in the ancient world, and the Indus Valley cities were well positioned to produce and trade these coveted goods. The skillful artisans of the Indus Valley were not only master builders and engineers, but also exceptional craftsmen, creating objects of great beauty and fine craftsmanship that were traded far and wide. One of the most famous luxury goods from the Indus Valley was its beadwork. The region was known for its high-quality beads made from a variety of materials, including carnelian, agate, lapis lazuli, and turquoise. These beads were intricately crafted and used to create jewelry, ornaments, and other decorative items. The sheer variety of colors and materials used in bead making suggests a highly developed sense of artistry and a deep understanding of trade, as many of the raw materials used in bead production were not local to the Indus Valley. The carnelian beads, for example, were likely sourced from the regions of modern-day Gujarat, while lapis lazuli came from Afghanistan, a considerable distance from the Indus cities. These beads were not only used in personal adornments, but also likely served as a form of wealth, traded across vast distances and symbolizing status within the society. Gems and precious stones were another important part of the Indus Valley's luxury goods trade. Lapis lazuli, in particular, was highly prized, its deep blue color, a symbol of wealth and status. Artifacts made from this gem have been found at various Indus Valley sites, indicating its widespread use in jewelry and ceremonial objects. The presence of such luxury items also reflects the Indus Valley's connection to other ancient civilizations, including Mesopotamia, where lapis lazuli was used extensively in the crafting of royal insignia and religious artifacts. The fact that such materials traveled thousands of miles to reach the Indus Valley cities speaks to the advanced trade networks that linked the region to the broader ancient world. Metals also played a critical role in the luxury goods trade of the Indus Valley. The region's access to metals such as copper, bronze, and gold allowed for the creation of high-quality tools, ornaments, and ceremonial items. Artisans used these metals to craft finely made jewelry, statues, and weapons. The technology to extract and work with these metals suggests a sophisticated understanding of metallurgy, which would have been highly valued both locally and abroad. As the Indus Valley traded goods like metal objects, jewelry, and beads, it further solidified its place as a key player in the economic network of the ancient world. The trade routes that facilitated the flow of these luxury items were vast and interconnected. The Indus Valley's cities, particularly Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, were linked to trade networks that extended into the heart of Mesopotamia, the Persian Gulf, and even the distant lands of Central Asia. The ancient trade routes, including overland caravans and sea routes, allowed for the exchange of goods, bringing exotic materials to the Indus Valley and sending its own products to foreign markets. The port city of Lothal, for example, is believed to have been a key center for maritime trade, where goods could be shipped out to the Arabian Sea and beyond. The trade of luxury goods not only contributed to the economic vibrancy of the Indus Valley Civilization, but also facilitated cultural exchange, connecting the people of the Indus Valley with distant civilizations. Through these interactions, the Indus Valley became a hub of artistic, cultural, and material exchange, leaving behind a legacy of craftsmanship that would resonate through the centuries. The role of women in the Indus Valley Civilization remains one of the most intriguing aspects of this ancient society. While much of the civilization's history remains shrouded in mystery due to the inability to fully decipher their script, evidence from archaeological findings provides some insight into the lives of women and their roles within this sophisticated urban society. From the artifacts discovered at key sites like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, we can glean glimpses of women's presence in daily life, family structures, and even their involvement in trade and religion. The daily life of women in the Indus Valley appears to have been centered around domestic responsibilities, including managing households and family activities. Archaeological evidence suggests that women were likely responsible for tasks such as weaving textiles, making pottery, and grinding grain activities that were crucial for sustaining the daily needs of their families and communities. Figurines discovered at various Indus Valley sites often depict women engaged in domestic tasks, and some representations, such as the famous dancing girl statue from Mohenjo-Daro, suggest a society where women were also involved in artistic expression and physical activities. This implies that women's roles, while tied to the household, also allowed space for personal expression and possibly public engagement in some aspects of social life. In terms of family structure, evidence points toward a society that valued the family unit, though it is unclear to what extent gender roles were rigidly defined. While the archaeological record offers little direct evidence of strict gender segregation, it is evident that women were central to the functioning of households. Women likely held positions of importance within their families, as suggested by the number of figurines of women found in domestic contexts, which may have represented not only domestic figures, but also deities or spiritual symbols. This dual role, serving both as family matriarchs and possibly spiritual figures, hints at the importance of women in both the private and public spheres. One of the more fascinating aspects of women's roles in the Indus Valley is their potential involvement in trade and religion. While most of the evidence for trade involves male figures, there are subtle signs that women may have participated in commercial activities as well. For instance, some seals depict women in what may be ritual or administrative roles, possibly indicating that they were involved in trade transactions or the production of goods that were traded. Additionally, the presence of certain artifacts associated with religious rituals, such as figurines and symbols of fertility, suggests that women could have played an active part in religious practices. While much of the religious structure remains speculative, it's plausible that women, like men, were involved in ceremonial or religious rites, particularly given the fertility-related imagery associated with many Indus Valley deities. The role of women in the Indus Valley Civilization was likely multifaceted, encompassing domestic, economic, and possibly spiritual duties. While the exact nature of their status is still debated, the evidence points to a society where women were integral to the sustenance, culture, and rituals of the community. The contributions of women, though not always visible in the written record, are imprinted in the artifacts, art, and structures that have survived from this ancient civilization, offering a glimpse into their vital role in shaping the Indus Valley's legacy. The Indus Valley Civilization thrived in one of the most fertile regions of the ancient world, surrounded by the mighty Indus River and its numerous tributaries. This river system, with its annual flooding and rich alluvial soils, formed the lifeblood of the civilization, offering both sustenance and the ability to support large, growing urban centers. However, the people of the Indus Valley did not simply rely on the river's natural cycles. They developed an intricate understanding of their environment and learned to adapt to the challenges it presented. This deep connection with the land and river system allowed them to create one of the most sustainable and advanced civilizations of the ancient world. The relationship between the people and the environment is evident in their agricultural practices. The fertile soil deposited by the river's flooding allowed for the cultivation of a wide range of crops, including wheat, barley, peas, and cotton, all of which were essential for the sustenance of the growing urban populations. Yet, the Indus people did not depend solely on the natural flood patterns. They developed sophisticated irrigation systems that allowed them to harness water more efficiently. These systems included wells, canals, and water storage tanks, which were meticulously planned to ensure crops were watered during drier seasons. This engineering feat highlights the people's foresight and their ability to make the most of their natural surroundings, ensuring a steady food supply year-round. The careful management of water resources also speaks to the sustainable practices employed by the Indus Valley Civilization. Evidence suggests that the people of the Indus Valley were early adopters of conservation methods. They built their cities with an understanding of the need for efficient waste management and water usage. Mohenjo-Daro, for example, featured a complex drainage system with streets lined by brick drains that carried waste and wastewater away from the living areas. This not only helped maintain public health, but also allowed for the proper management of the city's water supply, reinforcing the civilization's awareness of environmental impact. The existence of well-constructed public baths and drainage systems suggests that the people of the Indus Valley understood the importance of maintaining cleanliness and managing resources responsibly. In addition to agriculture, the relationship between the Indus people and the natural world is reflected in their reverence for the environment. Many of the symbols and motifs found in their art and iconography are closely connected to animals and plants. Bulls, unicorns, and elephants appear frequently on seals and pottery, suggesting a symbolic and perhaps even spiritual connection to these creatures. Fertility symbols, such as the recurring motif of the mother goddess, also point to the importance of nature in their religious and social practices. These symbols reflect the deep interdependence between the people and their environment, highlighting how nature was woven into the cultural fabric of the civilization. Overall, The Indus Valley Civilization demonstrates an impressive ability to adapt to and manage the environment in ways that allowed for sustainable growth. The people's mastery over agriculture, water management, and environmental conservation laid the foundation for the civilization's enduring success. Their deep connection to the natural world not only ensured their survival, but also formed the basis for a rich and enduring culture that would influence generations to come. The question of warfare in the Indus Valley Civilization remains one of the most intriguing aspects of its history. Unlike many other ancient civilizations, the Indus Valley appears to have left behind little direct evidence of large-scale military conflict. There are no grand depictions of battles, no elaborate war monuments, and few accounts of warfare in their inscriptions. Yet, despite the absence of overt signs of aggression, the archaeological record provides subtle clues that suggest the Indus Valley Civilization was not entirely devoid of conflict. The presence of weapons, fortifications, and defensive measures speaks to a society that, while possibly more peaceful than its contemporaries, was not without its own struggles. The most telling evidence of potential conflict comes from the discovery of weapons such as copper knives, axes, and spears, along with the occasional bronze dagger or sword. These weapons were not as numerous as those found in other contemporary civilizations, but their presence hints at a society that was prepared for defense, if not offense. It's important to note that these weapons, while functional, were likely used more for personal protection, hunting, or ceremonial purposes, rather than large-scale military campaigns. The lack of weapons in the homes of the majority of the population suggests that warfare was not a central aspect of daily life in the Indus Valley, at least not to the same extent as in other ancient cultures. In addition to the weapons, the Indus Valley cities themselves provide evidence of defensive planning. The cities of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa were built with impressive infrastructure, including high walls, fortified gateways, and strategically placed watchtowers. These fortifications were not massive compared to those of other ancient cities, but they do suggest an awareness of the need for protection. Some theorists argue that these defenses were likely meant to protect against floods or to delineate the city from surrounding agricultural lands. But the possibility of external threats cannot be ruled out entirely. The walls may have served as a deterrent against invasion or even local disputes between the settlements. The theories regarding the peacefulness of the Indus Valley Civilization vary among scholars. Some posit that the lack of clear evidence of warfare points to a more harmonious society, where internal conflicts were resolved through trade, diplomacy, or social cohesion rather than violence. Others argue that the absence of war-related imagery and documentation in the archaeological record does not necessarily mean that the civilization was without conflict. It is possible that the Indus Valley's system of governance and its advanced urban planning helped maintain order and discourage the need for warfare. The relatively uniformity in the city's layout, the presence of large public baths, and the advanced sanitation systems suggest a level of organization that could have mitigated internal strife. When compared to other contemporaneous civilizations, such as Mesopotamia and Egypt, the Indus Valley's approach to warfare appears markedly different. While the Egyptians and Sumerians engaged in territorial expansion and frequent battles, there is little indication that the people of the Indus Valley sought to conquer neighboring regions. This lack of aggressive military expansion sets them apart from other ancient societies, leading some to conclude that the Indus Valley Civilization might have been one of the more peaceful societies of the ancient world. However, the truth likely lies somewhere in between, with a society that, while not aggressive by nature, maintained an organized system of defense in response to the world around it. The rise of the Harappan cities marks a remarkable chapter in the story of human civilization. Beginning around 3300 BCE, the cities of the Indus Valley, with Harappa at their forefront, grew from small agricultural settlements into sophisticated urban centers. The urbanization process of the Harappan civilization is a testament to human ingenuity and adaptability. Over time, cities such as Harappa and Mohenjo-daro flourished with complex planning, advanced infrastructure, and an increasingly large and diverse population. One of the key drivers of this growth was the fertile land of the Indus River Valley. The river's annual flooding deposited rich, nutrient-laden silt onto the surrounding plains, making the land perfect for agriculture. Early farming communities, initially spread out along the riverbanks, began to thrive due to the abundance of crops such as wheat, barley, and peas. As agricultural surplus increased, it allowed the population to expand, providing the foundation for the growth of larger, more permanent settlements. These settlements, in turn, evolved into major cities, where economic, social, and technological developments transformed the region into one of the most advanced civilizations of the ancient world. The population dynamics of the Harappan cities were shaped by both migration and internal growth. As the cities grew in size and importance, people from surrounding regions and smaller settlements began to move toward them, seeking opportunities for work, trade, or safety. The evidence of a highly organized urban environment suggests that this influx of people was managed through a centralized or semi-centralized system, possibly overseen by a group of leaders or governing authorities. The social and economic divisions within the cities were marked by distinct residential areas, craft workshops, and public spaces, all of which suggest a structured society where resources and people were carefully organized to maintain order and efficiency. The role of the river in supporting urban life cannot be overstated. The Indus River provided the essential water supply needed for agriculture, trade, and daily life. Its predictable flooding cycles ensured a steady supply of water for crops, while also facilitating river-based trade between Harappa and other settlements across the valley. The river acted as a transportation route, allowing goods such as pottery, metals, and textiles to be transported between distant cities and regions. This connectivity played a crucial role in the economic vitality of the Harappan cities and in the exchange of cultural and technological knowledge. The river, in essence, became the lifeblood of the Harappan civilization, shaping its growth, sustainability, and prosperity. Thus, the rise of the Harappan cities is closely linked to the fertile lands of the Indus River Valley, which supported an expanding population and allowed for the development of an advanced urban society. Through agriculture, migration, and the exploitation of river resources, the Harappans were able to create cities that not only survived but thrived, setting the stage for one of the most impressive ancient civilizations. The Indus River was not just a geographical feature for the people of the Indus Valley Civilization, it was the very lifeblood of their existence. The river's central role in the development of this ancient civilization is undeniable, as it provided water for agriculture, transportation for trade, and a natural boundary that shaped the settlements along its banks. The civilizations that flourished in the Indus Valley were deeply entwined with the rhythms of the river, relying on it for sustenance, growth, and economic prosperity. The river's annual flooding cycles played a pivotal role in the agricultural success of the region. Every year, as the monsoon rains fell, the Indus would swell, depositing nutrient-rich silt along its banks. This made the surrounding plains incredibly fertile, creating ideal conditions for farming. The ability to cultivate crops like wheat, barley, and cotton allowed the people of the Indus Valley to feed growing urban populations. Additionally, the flooding provided a reliable irrigation source, enabling the development of sophisticated water management systems. The careful planning and construction of canals, dams, and reservoirs indicate a deep understanding of hydrology and a society committed to sustaining its agricultural needs. These irrigation systems helped harness the power of the river, directing water to the fields during the dry months and ensuring a steady food supply year-round. Beyond agriculture, the Indus River was essential for trade and communication. It connected the cities of the civilization, allowing goods, ideas, and people to move efficiently between them. The river acted as a natural highway for transportation, facilitating the exchange of products such as pottery, textiles, beads, and metals. Goods were transported on boats, which made travel both quicker and more accessible. The river's significance in trade extended far beyond the valley itself, reaching as far as Mesopotamia, where the Indus Valley traded beads, gems, and textiles. The ease of travel provided by the river made it possible for these distant trade networks to thrive, bringing wealth and influence to the cities of the Indus Valley. As a result, the river was integral to the economic framework of the civilization, supporting both local and international commerce. Communication was also facilitated by the river's presence, as settlements along the riverbanks could easily send and receive messages and goods, making the flow of information more consistent and reliable. In times of war, the river provided both a natural barrier and a means of organizing defensive strategies. The settlements' proximity to the river allowed them to communicate more rapidly with each other, contributing to the coordinated urban growth that defined the civilization. The Indus River, therefore, was much more than a geographical feature for the ancient people of the valley. It was a critical force in shaping their society, supporting agriculture, enabling trade, and acting as a conduit for communication. The civilization's reliance on this river demonstrates its profound influence on the development of urban life in the region, laying the foundation for a flourishing culture that would leave an indelible mark on history. The decline of the Indus Valley Civilization remains one of history's most captivating mysteries. Theories abound about the reasons behind the civilization's collapse, with a number of contributing factors likely playing a role. Many researchers point to environmental factors as being central to the unraveling of this once thriving society. While the Indus Valley was initially a fertile and prosperous region, the very factors that had made it so successful began to change, leading to a cascade of challenges that proved too great for the civilization to overcome. Flooding, a natural phenomenon that had once been a vital source of fertility for the land, may have become an overwhelming threat. The river's annual floods were crucial for irrigation and the replenishment of the soil, but an increase in the frequency or intensity of these floods could have caused massive damage to the agricultural infrastructure. As the floodwaters overtook fields, crops would have been destroyed, leading to food shortages. In addition, the damage to irrigation systems and settlement areas could have left large sections of the population vulnerable, both in terms of their food supply and their safety. This could have weakened the civilization's ability to recover, especially as the climate began to shift in ways that may have disrupted traditional weather patterns. Another significant environmental factor was the possibility of earthquakes. The Indus Valley lies in a seismically active zone, and several archaeological sites have shown evidence of buildings damaged or destroyed by seismic activity. Earthquakes could have destabilized entire cities, breaking down critical infrastructure such as roads, water systems, and trade routes. The destruction caused by earthquakes would have compounded the difficulties the population faced, forcing them to either rebuild in a weakened state or abandon their cities altogether. The changing climate, too, could have played a crucial role in the civilization's decline. Evidence suggests that around 2000 BCE, the region experienced a shift towards a more arid climate. As the monsoon rains, essential for agriculture, became more unpredictable and sparse, the once fertile plains could no longer sustain the large agricultural base that supported the population. This gradual drying of the region may have diminished the agricultural productivity that had been the backbone of the civilization. With less food available, trade networks would have suffered and the economy could have faltered, making it more difficult for the cities to sustain themselves. The decline in trade is also believed to have been a critical factor in the civilization's fall. The Indus Valley was once a hub of vibrant trade, but as the environment began to shift and resources became scarcer, trade routes may have been disrupted. The loss of key trading partners, particularly Mesopotamia, likely had a domino effect on the economy, further straining resources and weakening the cities. Without the wealth that trade had brought, the once thriving cities would have struggled to maintain their urban centers and infrastructure. The combination of these environmental pressures, flooding, earthquakes, and climate change created a perfect storm for the collapse of the Indus Valley Civilization. These challenges, alongside the weakening of trade and agricultural productivity, likely led to the slow abandonment of the cities. What had once been a thriving, sophisticated society now faced an uncertain future, eventually falling into decline. The exact causes of the collapse remain unclear, but it is evident that environmental factors played a significant role in the civilization's eventual disappearance. The collapse of the Indus Valley Civilization is as enigmatic as its rise. While environmental factors like flooding, earthquakes, and climate shifts have been widely discussed, social and economic reasons also played a significant role in the downfall of this once thriving civilization. As the cities grew in size and complexity, they required more sophisticated systems of governance and administration. However, the lack of evidence for a centralized political structure suggests that power was distributed among different city-states. This decentralization could have led to difficulties in coordinating responses to crises, such as natural disasters or invasions, and weakened the civilization's ability to adapt to changing circumstances. The evidence suggests that, as the civilization's urban centers became increasingly dependent on long-distance trade networks, any disruption to these routes would have had a far-reaching impact. Declining trade, especially with Mesopotamia, which had been a key trading partner, could have crippled the economy. With fewer resources flowing into the cities, economic stagnation likely set in. Furthermore, as agricultural productivity began to decline due to soil depletion or changing climate conditions, the food supply that had once sustained the urban population would have been severely strained. This would have led to greater competition for dwindling resources and potentially to internal social unrest. Social upheaval may have contributed to the collapse as well. The archaeological record indicates signs of mass abandonment of the cities, which suggests that migration or mass movements of people were occurring. Whether these movements were driven by environmental stress or social conflict remains uncertain. The evidence of smaller, scattered settlements that emerged in the aftermath of the collapse indicates that people may have sought refuge in less densely populated areas, either in search of more fertile land or as a result of shifting political and social landscapes. The disappearance of the urban elite and the apparent decline in organized craftsmanship also suggest that the structure of society underwent a dramatic transformation, possibly as a result of internal fractures or conflicts over power and resources. Although the collapse of the Indus Valley Civilization was likely a multifaceted process, it is clear that the combination of environmental, social, and economic factors led to its gradual disintegration. The loss of trade, the decline in agricultural productivity, and the inability to maintain political and social stability all contributed to the fall of what had once been a highly advanced and interconnected civilization. While we may never fully understand the precise reasons for its decline, the collapse of the Indus Valley serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of even the most sophisticated societies when faced with overwhelming challenges. Mohenjo-Daro, one of the most remarkable cities of the Indus Valley Civilization, holds significant clues about the civilization's mysterious collapse. The site, which once stood as a vibrant urban center with advanced infrastructure, now lies in ruins. Archaeological evidence suggests that the city experienced a sudden and dramatic end, though the exact cause remains unclear. Theories abound as to whether this destruction was the result of warfare, a natural disaster, or a sudden abandonment due to other socio-economic pressures. Some researchers have proposed that the city's downfall was caused by warfare. Despite the absence of direct evidence for large-scale battles or violent destruction, the signs of disruption in Mohenjo-Daro are hard to ignore. The remains of buildings show signs of sudden and intense damage, which could suggest an attack or siege. Additionally, the evidence of defensive structures and fortified walls might imply that the city was preparing for or under the threat of attack. However, the lack of weapons and fortifications commonly found in other ancient cities of similar size makes it difficult to definitively attribute the collapse of Mohenjo-Daro to military conflict. Another prevailing theory suggests that natural disasters, such as earthquakes, may have played a role in the city's destruction. Mohenjo-Daro, like other cities in the Indus Valley, was built on floodplains, and it is possible that shifts in the river's course, combined with seismic activity, caused catastrophic flooding or soil erosion. Evidence from the site, including dislocated bricks and collapsed walls, could be interpreted as the result of an earthquake or sudden environmental change. Such a disaster could have led to the destruction of vital infrastructure, including the city's drainage and water systems, which were critical for maintaining daily life. The destabilizing effects of a natural catastrophe would have made it difficult for the inhabitants to recover, particularly in the absence of a centralized authority to organize a response. Perhaps the most intriguing theory is that of sudden abandonment. Archaeologists have uncovered evidence that suggests that, toward the end of its existence, Mohenjo-Daro experienced a significant population decline. This abrupt depopulation hints at the possibility that the inhabitants may have fled the city in response to a combination of factors, such as prolonged drought, economic hardship, or internal unrest. This sudden exodus would explain the lack of large-scale destruction, as the city may have been abandoned while much of its infrastructure remained intact, albeit gradually deteriorating over time. Regardless of the cause, the end of Mohenjo-Daro offers a poignant snapshot of the fragility of civilizations, even those that seem so advanced and well-organized. The site's abandonment marked the end of one of the most sophisticated urban centers of the ancient world, a testament to the complexity and eventual vulnerability of the Indus Valley Civilization. While the mysteries surrounding its collapse remain unresolved, the story of Mohenjo-Daro's fall continues to captivate scholars and serves as a reminder of the delicate balance civilizations must maintain between progress and sustainability. Harappa, like its counterpart Mohenjo-Daro, faced its own set of challenges that ultimately led to its decline. Situated along the banks of the Ravi River, Harappa was one of the earliest cities of the Indus Valley Civilization, known for its well-planned streets and advanced drainage systems. Yet, as the centuries passed, Harappa too began to show signs of struggle, which became more pronounced in its final years. One of the key challenges Harappa faced was environmental change. The shifting course of the river, combined with changing climate conditions, may have had a profound impact on the city's agricultural base. The river's flooding cycles were crucial for irrigation, and as the climate grew less predictable, so did the stability of agricultural productivity. Evidence suggests that by the time Harappa began to decline, the region was suffering from a lack of consistent water sources, which would have directly affected food production and trade. Without a reliable agricultural base, the people of Harappa would have struggled to maintain their large urban population. Archaeological evidence also points to the idea that Harappa, much like Mohenjo-Daro, faced a decline in trade. The intricate trade networks that once connected the Indus Valley to Mesopotamia and beyond began to fray, leading to economic destabilization. Harappa's location, which had once been central to the distribution of goods, began to lose its significance as trade routes shifted and other regions gained prominence. This economic downturn could have further strained the city's resources, causing its infrastructure to deteriorate and its population to decrease. The final years of Harappa are marked by a lack of evidence for large-scale destruction, which suggests that its abandonment was more gradual rather than the result of a single catastrophic event. Unlike Mohenjo-Daro, where signs of violence or warfare have been detected, Harappa shows fewer signs of direct conflict or sudden disaster. Instead, The site reveals evidence of population decline, with fewer people occupying the city as time went on. There is a noticeable reduction in the number of buildings being constructed, and many of the city's once bustling streets became deserted. This gradual decline is further evidenced by the disuse of public structures, such as granaries and administrative buildings, which would have been central to the city's functioning. The final excavations at Harappa reveal a city in the midst of decline, its once vibrant streets now empty. The site's last inhabitants likely migrated away from the city, perhaps seeking better opportunities elsewhere, or fleeing from environmental stresses. The final years of Harappa's existence paint a picture of a civilization that, much like Mohenjo-Daro, was unable to adapt quickly enough to the changing environmental and economic factors that had once sustained it. Though the exact reasons for its abandonment remain unclear, the story of Harappa's decline is a poignant reminder of how even the most advanced civilizations can fall victim to the unpredictable forces of nature and circumstance. The collapse of the Indus Valley Civilization marked a turning point not just for Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, but for the entire region. With the decline of these once thriving urban centers, the surrounding areas were left in disarray, and the complex network that had bound the civilization together began to unravel. The collapse of such a sophisticated culture left behind a haunting silence. The once bustling streets of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro lay empty, their people scattered or gone, and what followed was a slow transformation that affected the entire Indian subcontinent. Migration became a significant factor in the aftermath of the collapse. With the urban centers in decline, the people of the Indus Valley, particularly those who once lived in the cities, would have sought refuge in smaller, more rural communities or migrated to different regions in search of sustenance and stability. Archaeological evidence suggests that some of the displaced populations may have moved eastward, where they could integrate into the early Vedic cultures that were beginning to take shape. These migrants likely brought with them knowledge of urban planning, craftsmanship, and trade, which would have left an imprint on the emerging cultures of the time. The integration of Harappans into new communities may have contributed to the spread of certain technologies and social structures, influencing the development of the subsequent cultures that flourished in the region. As the people of the Indus Valley adapted to new surroundings, their departure from the cities also left a lasting impact on the surrounding cultures. The decline of the Harappan cities meant that trade networks, once extensive and complex, were disrupted. The once thriving trade routes that connected the Indus Valley with Mesopotamia and Persia fell into disrepair, weakening the economies of neighboring regions. However, some of the surrounding cultures, particularly those in the Ganges River Valley, began to flourish during this period. The migratory patterns of Harappans may have played a role in the cultural diffusion of ideas and technologies that contributed to the rise of the Vedic culture, one of the most significant developments in ancient India. In addition to the migration of people, the environmental changes that contributed to the collapse of the Indus Valley also affected the surrounding regions. The changes in climate, the shifting of rivers, and the increasing aridity of the land influenced agricultural practices in neighboring cultures, forcing them to adjust to new conditions. In the long run, these environmental shifts, combined with the migration of people, led to the transformation of the cultural landscape of the Indian subcontinent. The aftermath of the collapse of the Indus Valley Civilization is marked by an era of adaptation and transition. While the cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were abandoned, the knowledge, traditions, and people of the Indus Valley did not vanish. Instead, they were absorbed into new cultural contexts, helping shape the future of the Indian subcontinent in ways that are still felt today. The legacy of the Indus Valley Civilization is a quiet but profound thread that weaves through the fabric of later cultures in South Asia. Though its cities were abandoned, the ideas, practices, and innovations of the Indus Valley did not vanish. Instead, they subtly shaped the cultures that followed, leaving an imprint on the subcontinent's development for centuries to come. One of the most significant contributions of the Indus Valley was its impact on trade. The civilization was one of the earliest to establish complex trade networks that spanned across regions, reaching Mesopotamia, Persia, and the Arabian Peninsula. The trade routes that connected the Indus Valley to distant lands were not just conduits for goods, but for cultural exchange. This legacy of trade persisted well into later periods, as the subcontinent continued to engage in vibrant commercial exchanges. The introduction of standardized weights and measures, seen in the Indus Valley, influenced later economic systems in the region, helping to streamline trade and improve the efficiency of economic transactions. Furthermore, the understanding of resources and raw materials, honed by the Harappans, laid the foundation for the growth of trade hubs in subsequent civilizations. The technological innovations of the Indus Valley were equally influential. The advanced urban planning, including the well-organized streets, drainage systems, and the use of fired bricks in construction, became models for future cities. These elements would resonate in the planning of ancient Indian cities in the centuries that followed. Though the civilization's precise methods were not replicated in later cultures, the idea of urban sanitation, proper waste disposal, and systematic city layouts remained central to urban development in the subcontinent. Even the notion of crafting planned, functional cities, as opposed to organic and haphazard settlements, would be revisited by successive civilizations in the region. Urban planning wasn't the only technological legacy left by the Indus Valley. The advances in metallurgy, bead-making, and pottery were adopted and adapted by later cultures, continuing to influence South Asian craft traditions. The Indus Valley's use of materials like terracotta, gold, and semi-precious stones in the creation of jewelry, figurines, and tools remained an inspiration for artisans in future generations. This reverence for craftsmanship and artistry would flourish in the Gupta period, centuries later, where exquisite sculpture and intricate designs would dominate the cultural landscape. The eventual rediscovery of the Indus Valley in the 19th and 20th centuries sparked a revolution in modern archaeology. The excavation of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro revealed a civilization that had long been forgotten, offering scholars a glimpse into an ancient world that predated even the rise of the great Vedic culture. The discovery of the Indus script, its advanced urban systems, and its well-planned cities challenged earlier assumptions about the development of ancient civilizations. It also opened the door for further exploration into the rise of complex societies in the ancient world. This archaeological revelation not only reshaped our understanding of South Asia's past, but also changed the broader narrative of human history, placing the Indus Valley Civilization alongside the great civilizations of Egypt, Mesopotamia, and China. Today, the legacy of the Indus Valley Civilization continues to be felt in the modern world. Its cultural, technological, and economic contributions still reverberating in the subcontinent's history. The rediscovery of the Indus Valley Civilization is one of the most significant achievements in modern archaeology, revealing the existence of a once great civilization that had been lost to history for thousands of years. For much of the ancient and medieval periods, the vast cities of the Indus Valley lay buried beneath the sands, forgotten by all but the local inhabitants who lived in the region. It wasn't until the 19th century that the first formal steps were taken toward uncovering this remarkable civilization. The initial breakthrough came in the early 1800s, when British officials and explorers began to take notice of the ruins that dotted the landscape of present-day Pakistan and India. In the 1820s, an early glimpse of what was to come occurred when a British East India Company officer, Charles Masson, made brief notes on a mound at Harappa, though it was not yet recognized for its historical significance. It wasn't until the 1850s and 1860s that more systematic surveys were conducted, uncovering ancient pottery and signs of a lost culture. However, the true revelation came in the 1920s, when major archaeological expeditions were launched under the direction of Sir Mortimer Wheeler, who initiated the first formal excavations at Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. The excavations revealed an advanced civilization that had flourished millennia before the rise of other ancient cultures. At Mohenjo-Daro, the vast city lay in ruins, its well-planned streets, sophisticated drainage systems, and public buildings hinting at an impressive urban center. Harappa, likewise, revealed evidence of highly organized planning, with meticulously constructed brick buildings and a sense of order that was unprecedented for its time. But it wasn't just the physical remnants that left scholars stunned. It was the advanced nature of this civilization's technology and social structure, which seemed to far outstrip what was previously believed to be possible in the ancient world. The discovery of the Indus Valley script was another major milestone in the process of rediscovery. Scholars were baffled by the symbols etched into seals and pottery fragments, as they appeared to represent a written language that had no known parallels. Despite numerous attempts, the script remains largely undeciphered, which continues to be one of the greatest mysteries of the Indus Valley Civilization. Still, these inscriptions played a key role in sparking the ongoing fascination with the civilization, as they symbolized a culture whose complexity was only beginning to be understood. The rediscovery of the Indus Valley also brought with it an influx of scholarly attention. Archaeologists, historians, and linguists from around the world flocked to the region to study the ruins and piece together the fragments of this lost world. Pioneers such as Sir John Marshall, who served as the director of the Archaeological Survey of India, were instrumental in bringing the civilization into the broader consciousness of the world. Their work laid the foundation for the future of Indus Valley research and helped to establish the civilization as one of the world's oldest and most sophisticated cultures. Through their dedication and hard work, scholars of the 20th century slowly began to reconstruct the history of the Indus Valley civilization. While many questions remain unanswered, the rediscovery of this ancient society has forever changed our understanding of human history, revealing a lost civilization that flourished in the heart of South Asia, long before other ancient empires rose to prominence. The excavations of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro stand as some of the most significant in archaeological history, shedding light on the advanced civilization that once thrived along the banks of the Indus River. The findings at these sites have transformed our understanding of ancient urbanization, technology, and societal organization, revealing a culture that was remarkably advanced for its time. At Mohenjo-Daro, one of the first major excavations was undertaken in the 1920s by Sir Mortimer Wheeler and his team. The site, with its meticulously planned streets and well-organized layout, became a symbol of the sophistication of the Indus Valley civilization. The city's grid-like street plan, with wide avenues and smaller lanes, hinted at a level of urban organization not seen in other ancient civilizations. The discovery of the Great Bath, a large public water reservoir, revealed the importance of water management in daily life. The bath, along with the city's impressive drainage system, demonstrated the Indus people's advanced understanding of sanitation and public health, which was far ahead of its time. Equally important were the remarkable findings of seals and inscribed stones. The seals, made from steatite, were intricately carved with images of animals, humanoid figures, and abstract symbols. These seals, used likely for trade and administrative purposes, often depicted what is thought to be a unicorn, along with other animals like elephants and tigers. The inscriptions, while still undeciphered, suggest a written language that was used for both communication and record-keeping. These seals provided invaluable insights into the daily functions of the civilization, from trade and commerce to religious practices, offering clues into how the society functioned as a whole. Pottery found at both Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro further illustrated the high level of craftsmanship in the civilization. Often adorned with geometric patterns and animal motifs, the pottery was not only utilitarian, but also artistic. Some pieces were delicately crafted, indicating that even everyday items were made with great care and attention to detail. The range of pottery uncovered includes storage jars, cooking vessels, and ceremonial items, highlighting both the practical and ritualistic aspects of Indus society. In addition to these findings, the remains of various structures provided insight into the daily lives of the people. Homes were typically constructed from mud bricks, and while some buildings were modest, others appeared to serve as larger public or ceremonial spaces. The discovery of large granaries at Harappa suggested that the city was a key center for trade and agriculture, likely serving as a storage hub for the surplus grain that supported both the local population and the wider network of trade routes. The evidence of such trade connections emphasized the extent to which these cities were integrated into a broader economic system that spanned much of the ancient world. Together, the excavations at Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro have provided invaluable insights into the ancient urbanization process, revealing not only the technical and architectural prowess of the Indus Valley Civilization, but also its intricate social and economic systems. These findings continue to shape our understanding of early cities and their role in the development of complex societies. The Indus Valley Civilization holds a place of global significance, not only for its remarkable achievements, but also for the ways it has reshaped our understanding of early human societies. As one of the oldest urban cultures in history, its influence stretches far beyond the boundaries of South Asia, touching the development of ancient civilizations worldwide. When compared to contemporaneous civilizations such as Egypt, Mesopotamia, and China, the Indus Valley Civilization stands out for its unique blend of urban planning, technological innovation, and social organization. While Egypt and Mesopotamia were known for their monumental structures and rich mythologies, the Indus Valley was distinguished by its highly organized cities, advanced drainage systems, and widespread use of standardized weights and measures. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, with their grid-like streets and well-maintained sanitation infrastructure, were ahead of their time, offering a glimpse into the future of urban development. This sophisticated urban planning set the Indus Valley apart as one of the earliest examples of a planned society, laying the groundwork for the cities that would follow millennia later. In terms of scientific and technological contributions, the Indus Valley was an innovator in areas like metallurgy, hydraulics, and craftsmanship. The civilization's mastery over metallurgy, particularly the production of bronze, allowed them to create tools and artifacts of exceptional quality. The use of metals extended beyond tools and weapons, encompassing items of trade and art, such as the famous Indus seals. The hydraulic engineering behind their advanced drainage systems and wells showcased their deep understanding of water management, a critical resource in the arid regions they inhabited. Their ability to build cities around effective water systems highlights the Indus Valley's unique approach to both urban planning and environmental adaptation. Culturally, the Indus Valley Civilization's impact can be felt in its artistic traditions, trade practices, and the spread of its influence through extensive trade networks. The intricate pottery and seals from the Indus Valley, with their geometric patterns and depictions of animals, set a standard for craftsmanship that would resonate throughout the ancient world. The widespread use of seals suggests that the Indus people were not only active in trade, but were also engaging in cultural exchanges with distant regions such as Mesopotamia, Persia, and Afghanistan. This exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies helped shape the cultural landscape of ancient civilizations, and evidence of such networks indicates that the Indus Valley was a key player in early global trade. Despite the mystery surrounding the script of the Indus Valley, its legacy continues to influence modern thought. The civilization's emphasis on systematic organization, trade, and scientific knowledge resonates in contemporary approaches to urban planning and governance. Its cultural achievements, though largely forgotten for millennia, have found their place in the broader narrative of human civilization, reminding us of the shared heritage that connects ancient peoples across time and space. The Indus Valley Civilization, with its unmatched blend of technological innovation and cultural depth, remains a crucial chapter in the story of human progress. The Indus Valley Civilization, with its enigma and grandeur, has captivated the imagination of people around the world for centuries. Despite the many unanswered questions about its culture, language, and eventual decline, the mystery surrounding the civilization has been a consistent theme in modern popular culture. Literature, documentaries, films, and other forms of media have explored the lost world of the Indus Valley, weaving its secrets into stories that captivate both scholars and the general public alike. In literature, the Indus Valley has often been portrayed as a symbol of an ancient, highly advanced civilization, mysterious and ahead of its time. Many novels and historical fiction works have fictionalized the lives of the people who once lived in Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, infusing their stories with elements of fantasy and adventure. These works often delve into the speculative aspects of the civilization, imagining what the society may have been like and why it vanished, adding layers of intrigue to a long-forgotten culture. Writers frequently explore themes of lost knowledge, technological marvels, and the potential for hidden treasures waiting to be uncovered beneath the ruins, drawing readers into a world where the boundaries between history and imagination blur. Documentaries have played a crucial role in bringing the Indus Valley to the screen, presenting the civilization to a wide audience in a factual yet captivating manner. Many documentaries have focused on the archaeological discoveries of the Indus Valley, exploring the cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, and investigating the numerous artifacts that have been uncovered. These films often showcase the work of modern-day archaeologists and historians as they piece together the fragments of the past, trying to unlock the mysteries of a civilization that flourished thousands of years ago. By combining stunning visuals of the ancient sites with expert commentary and interviews, these documentaries make the long-lost world of the Indus Valley accessible and fascinating for viewers. Books, both scholarly and popular, have also contributed to the ongoing fascination with the civilization. Archaeological texts and historical accounts provide in-depth explorations of the Indus Valley's rise, its achievements, and its ultimate disappearance. These works highlight the civilization's technological advancements, its sophisticated urban planning, and its role in early global trade. At the same time, they present the numerous unanswered questions such as the undeciphered script and the reasons behind its collapse that continue to fuel public curiosity. Many readers are drawn to the mystery of the Indus Valley, captivated by the idea of an ancient civilization that holds so many secrets, yet remains so elusive. Films, too, have explored the Indus Valley, often incorporating its themes of mystery and lost knowledge into broader narratives. Whether as part of an adventure story or as the backdrop for historical fiction, filmmakers have tapped into the allure of the Indus Valley as a symbol of a forgotten golden age. These portrayals, while fictional, help keep the legend of the civilization alive, reminding audiences of its place in the story of humanity. The fascination with the Indus Valley Civilization shows no signs of waning. Its mysteries, from its sudden disappearance to its unsolved script, continue to inspire generations of storytellers, researchers, and explorers. The ancient cities may be silent, but through literature, documentaries, and media, the legacy of the Indus Valley remains ever present, sparking the curiosity of those who seek to uncover the secrets of this ancient world. The language and script of the Indus Valley Civilization remain among the greatest mysteries of ancient history. Despite the remarkable achievements of the Harappans in urban planning, trade, and engineering, their written language continues to elude modern scholars. The discovery of hundreds of seals inscribed with symbols and characters, often referred to as the Harappan script, has sparked a centuries-long attempt to decode the language, yet no breakthrough has been made. As a result, the script stands as a barrier between us and a deeper understanding of the civilization's culture, beliefs, and daily life. The Harappan script consists of a series of pictographic symbols, many of which appear on small seals made of steatite or clay, as well as on pottery and other objects. These symbols range from simple geometric shapes to more complex, stylized representations of animals and humans. Despite the frequency of these inscriptions, the script remains undeciphered, with no clear connection to any known language family. Some scholars believe that the script may represent an early form of Dravidian, an ancient language still spoken in parts of southern India today, while others argue that it could be an entirely separate language, one whose origins are lost to time. One of the key challenges in deciphering the Harappan script lies in the absence of a bilingual inscription, which could provide a direct comparison to help understand the language, much like the Rosetta Stone did for Egyptian hieroglyphs. While scholars have speculated that the script could be a form of proto-writing or even a combination of ideographic and phonetic symbols, no one theory has gained widespread acceptance. The symbols appear on a variety of materials, but there are few repeating patterns that might help establish a linguistic framework. This lack of linguistic evidence has made it nearly impossible to ascertain the meaning of individual symbols or even determine how the script was used. Another obstacle is the brevity of the inscriptions themselves. Most Harappan script examples are short, often no longer than a few dozen characters, and many appear on seals that were likely used for trade or administrative purposes. Without a larger corpus of longer texts, it is difficult to determine if the script was used for record-keeping, religious texts, or other forms of communication. The seals, while revealing, do not provide enough context for scholars to build a definitive interpretation. In recent years, technological advances such as computational analysis and machine learning have allowed researchers to examine the script in new ways. These tools may hold the potential to identify patterns or correlations that were previously overlooked, but much work remains to be done. Scholars hope that further excavations and discoveries, perhaps in undiscovered Harappan sites, will provide new insights into the script and the language behind it. Until then, the Harappan script will continue to puzzle linguists and archaeologists alike, standing as one of the last great enigmas of the ancient world. Despite the challenges, the hope remains that one day the language of the Indus Valley will be understood, offering a deeper connection to the people who once flourished along its banks. The religious practices of the Indus Valley Civilization remain shrouded in mystery, but archaeological evidence offers intriguing glimpses into a belief system that may have had lasting influences on later religious traditions, including Hinduism. While the precise nature of Harappan religious practices is still unknown, scholars have noted several recurring themes and symbols that suggest a deep spiritual connection to the natural world, fertility, and water. One of the most prominent features of Indus Valley religion seems to be a reverence for water, which played a central role in both daily life and spiritual practices. The sophisticated drainage systems found in Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, along with the large public baths, suggest that water was not only essential for hygiene and sanitation, but also for ritual purification. The Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro, with its precise engineering and grand scale, is believed to have had a ceremonial purpose, possibly linked to religious or ritualistic bathing. Water, in this sense, may have symbolized purity and renewal, a theme that resonates with later Hindu practices of ritual bathing in sacred rivers like the Ganges. Animals also feature prominently in the iconography of the Indus Valley Civilization, with numerous seals and figurines depicting various creatures, such as bulls, elephants, rhinoceroses, and unicorns. The bull, in particular, appears to have held symbolic significance, as it was often associated with fertility and strength. This reverence for animals is not only seen in the artistic depictions, but also in the possible ritual use of animal figures, which may have played a role in religious ceremonies. The connection between fertility, animals, and agricultural prosperity is a common theme that appears to have influenced later religious thought in South Asia, where animals continue to play an important role in Hinduism and other indigenous traditions. The symbolism of fertility is further reflected in the figurines of female deities, which often portray women in poses suggestive of fertility rites. Many of these figurines have exaggerated features, such as large hips and breasts, which likely symbolize the generative powers of women and the earth. These fertility symbols may have been central to the spiritual life of the Indus Valley people, linking the cycles of nature with the divine. It is possible that these early representations of fertility later evolved into the worship of goddesses like Lakshmi and Parvati in Hinduism, who embody wealth, prosperity, and fertility. Though the exact nature of the Indus Valley belief system remains speculative, it is clear that their religious practices laid the groundwork for future religious developments in the Indian subcontinent. Many of the motifs and themes found in Harappan art, such as the reverence for animals, fertility, and water, reappear in later religious structures and practices, particularly in the context of Hinduism. The focus on the natural world and its cyclical patterns of life, death, and rebirth reflects an early form of spirituality that would continue to evolve, influencing not only Hinduism but other religious traditions that emerged in the region. The legacy of the Indus Valley's religious practices, while difficult to fully understand, undoubtedly contributed to the rich tapestry of spiritual life in South Asia. The Indus Valley Civilization stands as a testament to early human ingenuity and technological prowess. The innovations in metallurgy, tools, and engineering that emerged from this ancient society not only advanced their own way of life, but also had a profound impact on subsequent civilizations. The people of the Indus Valley were among the earliest to master the art of metalworking, with evidence of sophisticated techniques that allowed them to create tools, weapons, and ornaments from a variety of metals. One of the most notable achievements in metallurgy was the production of bronze, an alloy of copper and tin. The Indus Valley artisans were highly skilled in casting bronze and copper objects, a technique that involved heating metal to a molten state and pouring it into molds. This process enabled the creation of precise and intricate tools, such as knives, chisels, and saws, as well as ornaments like beads and jewelry. The mastery of metalworking also extended to the production of tools for agriculture, which helped sustain the civilization's economy by improving farming efficiency. In addition to metalworking, the Indus Valley people were also adept in the creation of various tools and implements that were essential for daily life. Tools made from stone, bone, and shell were commonplace, used in everything from food preparation to textile production. The people of the Indus Valley used these tools with great skill, suggesting a society that valued craftsmanship and had an understanding of the materials they worked with. The creation of these tools helped shape the efficiency of the civilization's agricultural and industrial sectors, allowing it to thrive for centuries. The engineering achievements of the Indus Valley are perhaps some of the most impressive aspects of their technological legacy. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, in particular, displayed an advanced understanding of urban planning and infrastructure. The streets were laid out in a grid pattern, with roads that were carefully aligned to the cardinal directions. This careful organization suggests a level of foresight and planning that was uncommon in the ancient world. The cities also boasted sophisticated drainage and sewage systems, with covered drains running along the streets and leading wastewater away from residential areas. These engineering marvels ensured that the cities were not only functional but also clean and livable, a remarkable achievement for their time. The Indus Valley's innovations in engineering and technology had a lasting impact on contemporary societies, influencing the cultures that followed. The techniques used in metallurgy, the design of tools, and the organization of cities would resonate in later civilizations, particularly in the Indian subcontinent and beyond. Furthermore, the focus on urban cleanliness and water management was an early precursor to similar developments in later civilizations, demonstrating an understanding of public health that would not be seen again for centuries. While much about the technological achievements of the Indus Valley remains mysterious due to the still undeciphered script and the lack of written records, it is clear that their contributions to metallurgy, tool-making, and engineering were far-reaching and influential. The legacy of their innovations laid the groundwork for future generations, shaping the development of technology and urbanization across the ancient world. The social structure of the Indus Valley Civilization remains one of the more intriguing aspects of their society, especially since much of it is inferred from archaeological evidence rather than written records. While the precise roles of men and women in Indus society are difficult to determine, a variety of clues provide insights into how these roles may have been organized. Men in the Indus Valley were likely the primary figures in agriculture, trade, and governance, as inferred from the numerous figurines and seals depicting men engaged in these activities. They were also involved in the development of the city's infrastructure, such as the construction of roads, drainage systems, and public buildings. Women, on the other hand, seem to have had an equally important but more domestically centered role. Evidence suggests that they were engaged in textile production, pottery making, and household management. Several artifacts, such as beads, jewelry, and cooking utensils, indicate a society in which women played an integral part in both the economic and social spheres. There is no definitive evidence to suggest that women were marginalized or had less status than men, as is often the case in other ancient societies. In fact, some evidence points to a more egalitarian approach to gender roles. For example, the appearance of women in public art and artifacts often portrays them in positions of authority and importance, suggesting a significant degree of respect for their roles. The dancing girl statue from Mohenjo-Daro is a particularly notable example, showing a young woman in an active, confident pose, which suggests that women may have had a more visible presence in public and ceremonial life than traditionally thought. Social hierarchies in the Indus Valley are still a subject of debate. While the cities show signs of advanced urban planning and sophisticated trade networks, the evidence for a rigid class structure is sparse. Excavations have revealed a variety of housing types, from large, multi-room houses to smaller, more modest dwellings, which may suggest some level of social stratification. However, there is little to indicate the extent of class divisions, and many researchers believe that the Indus Valley may have been a relatively egalitarian society compared to contemporaneous civilizations such as Mesopotamia and Egypt. Unlike other ancient cultures, there is no clear evidence of monumental palaces or elaborate burial sites for elites, which raises questions about the presence of a strong aristocracy. Burial practices in the Indus Valley provide additional insights into the society's social and cultural structure. Excavations of burial sites have revealed that the dead were typically buried with personal belongings, such as pottery, jewelry, and beads, suggesting a belief in an afterlife. The positioning of the bodies, often in fetal positions, also hints at spiritual beliefs, with the suggestion that the people of the Indus Valley viewed death as a transition rather than an end. The lack of elaborate tombs, however, implies that the society may not have had a rigid class system, as the dead were typically treated with equal respect regardless of their apparent status in life. The Indus Valley Civilization remains a fascinating enigma when it comes to understanding its social and gender structures. While there is evidence of a degree of social hierarchy, the absence of visible class distinctions and the portrayal of both men and women in key roles suggest a society where gender roles were balanced and hierarchical structures were more fluid. The Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro is one of the most iconic and enigmatic structures of the Indus Valley Civilization. Situated in the heart of the city, it is an impressive example of early urban engineering and water management, reflecting the sophistication of Indus Valley society. The bath itself, measuring about 12 meters long and 7 meters wide, is made of finely cut bricks, with a waterproof layer of bitumen applied to the walls and floors. This meticulous construction suggests that the bath was not just a utilitarian space, but one that served an important function within the city's daily life. The exact purpose of the Great Bath remains a topic of much debate among scholars. Some have posited that it may have been a place of religious or spiritual significance, perhaps used for ritual purification or bathing before religious ceremonies. The scale of the structure, along with its central location within Mohenjo-Daro, supports this theory. It is possible that the bath was a symbol of communal or religious identity, a place where people came together to cleanse themselves physically and spiritually, linking water to notions of purity and sanctity. Others have suggested that the Great Bath served more secular purposes. As Mohenjo-Daro was a thriving urban center, it is possible that the bath was used as a public or communal space where residents could gather for social or recreational purposes. This theory is supported by the bath's size and its prominent position within the city, which might indicate its importance as a communal gathering spot. The Indus Valley's focus on hygiene and cleanliness, as evidenced by the advanced drainage systems throughout the city, also supports the idea that the Great Bath could have been a form of public bathing facility, promoting health and sanitation. The sophisticated water management system that surrounds the Great Bath is equally remarkable. The bath is connected to a network of wells and drains, which allowed water to be drawn and replaced with ease, while ensuring proper drainage to prevent the accumulation of waste. This level of infrastructure speaks to the engineering expertise of the Indus Valley people and their understanding of water management. Such an elaborate system not only suggests the importance of cleanliness in daily life, but also indicates the civilization's ability to control and manipulate its environment in a way that few contemporaneous societies could. The presence of the Great Bath and its surrounding water systems stands as a testament to the Indus Valley Civilization's advanced urban planning and technological prowess. Whether it served as a religious site, a public facility, or something else entirely, it reflects a society that placed a high value on communal spaces and the management of water, a crucial resource in the arid environment of the region. The mystery surrounding the Great Bath, along with its stunning engineering, continues to captivate archaeologists and historians, offering a glimpse into the values and sophistication of one of the world's earliest urban civilizations. The art and symbols of the Indus Valley Civilization reveal much about the society's worldview, its social structures, and its interactions with neighboring cultures. The artistic works discovered in cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro range from intricate pottery and seals to sculptures and jewelry, each offering insight into the daily lives and beliefs of the people. These artifacts are not only remarkable for their craftsmanship but also for the rich symbolic language they carry. Among the most iconic forms of Indus Valley art are the seals, often made from steatite and inscribed with various motifs, animals, and human figures. Some of these seals feature a mysterious figure known as the Proto-Shiva figure, a deity seated in a yogic posture, which many scholars believe represents a precursor to later Hindu gods. This figure, along with numerous animal motifs like unicorns, bulls, elephants, and tigers, suggests that animals held significant symbolic value within the society, likely representing power, fertility, or divine connections. The stylized depictions of animals and humans on these seals may have served not only as decorative objects, but also as markers of identity or ownership, particularly in trade and administrative contexts. The symbols on these seals and pottery often appear to have been part of a complex visual language. While the exact meanings of these symbols remain elusive, it is clear that they were used to convey specific messages or represent concepts that were vital to the Indus Valley people. Geometric shapes like grids and spirals may have had spiritual significance, representing the order and rhythm of the universe, while the recurring animal motifs could have been linked to totemic beliefs or agricultural deities. The Indus script, which accompanies many of these symbols, remains undeciphered, but it is likely that the symbols on these objects had a direct connection to the language, perhaps functioning as a form of early writing used in trade, ritual, or administration. In addition to the local artistic traditions, there is evidence of artistic exchanges between the Indus Valley and neighboring cultures. Archaeological findings suggest that there was trade with Mesopotamia, and this exchange is reflected in the similarities between some of the Indus Valley seals and the cylinder seals of Sumer. The exchange of goods, such as beads, metals, and textiles, would have facilitated cultural interactions, allowing for the blending of artistic styles and ideas. This interaction may have influenced the Indus Valley's artistic traditions, incorporating elements from the ancient Near East into their own visual language. The art of the Indus Valley, with its detailed symbolism and intricate craftsmanship, provides a window into a sophisticated civilization that valued both aesthetic beauty and practical function. Whether through the mystical depictions on seals, the geometric patterns on pottery, or the portrayal of animals and gods, the Indus Valley's art reflects a culture deeply connected to nature, spirituality, and social order. It is a testament to the enduring legacy of a people who, through their art and symbols, sought to understand and represent the world around them. The cities of the Indus Valley Civilization stand as a remarkable testament to the advanced urban planning and sophisticated engineering that characterized this ancient society. Cities such as Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were laid out with a level of organization and foresight that would have been impressive even by modern standards. Their well-thought-out design was essential for accommodating large populations, managing resources efficiently, and ensuring the smooth functioning of urban life. One of the most striking features of Indus Valley cities is their grid-like street patterns. The streets, often straight and aligned with the cardinal directions, divided the cities into well-organized blocks. This grid pattern, seen especially in Mohenjo-Daro, demonstrates a high degree of planning, ensuring that traffic and daily activities could be managed with maximum efficiency. The streets were often wide, allowing for easy movement of people and goods, and in many places they were lined with structures that served both residential and commercial purposes. The layout of the cities reflects a clear vision for urban living, one that prioritized order and accessibility. Equally impressive are the advanced drainage and sewage systems that were incorporated into the cities. Mohenjo-Daro, in particular, is known for its elaborate system of covered drains, which ran along the streets and carried wastewater away from homes. These drains were built with brick and were covered with stones, making them easy to maintain and clean. In some parts of the city, the drainage system even included wells and inspection holes, showing that the Indus Valley people were mindful of sanitation and the health of their urban populations. This system was not only functional but also reflected an understanding of hygiene and public health that was ahead of its time. The city's infrastructure also included public baths, such as the Great Bath in Mohenjo-Daro, which further highlights the importance placed on communal spaces and cleanliness. The bath was a large, rectangular pool, surrounded by a complex of rooms and chambers, likely used for ritual purification or public bathing. The presence of such a structure suggests that the people of the Indus Valley had social and religious practices that involved water, and that they valued shared spaces for ritual or leisure activities. When compared to other ancient cities, the urban design of the Indus Valley is strikingly sophisticated. While civilizations like Mesopotamia and Egypt developed impressive cities, the Indus Valley cities were unique in their focus on utility and cleanliness. In contrast to the haphazard development seen in many ancient cities, the careful, almost scientific layout of the Indus cities set them apart. The foresight involved in the planning of these cities points to a culture that valued order, efficiency, and the well-being of its inhabitants. aspects that are often underappreciated in the study of ancient urbanization. Through their urban planning, the people of the Indus Valley created cities that were not only functional, but also remarkably resilient. The grids, drainage systems, and infrastructure provided the foundation for a thriving civilization, one that would influence the course of history long after its decline. The Indus Valley Civilization was a thriving hub of trade and commerce, intricately woven into the fabric of its social and economic life. Situated along the fertile banks of the Indus River, the civilization's strategic location enabled it to connect with distant regions, from Mesopotamia in the west to the Iranian plateau in the east. The bustling trade networks that spanned across this vast expanse played a crucial role in the civilization's growth, economic prosperity, and cultural exchange. Trade within the Indus Valley was not limited to mere barter. It was a sophisticated system that involved the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies. Seals, made of steatite or other stones, were used to mark goods and transactions, and they have become one of the most iconic symbols of Indus commerce. These seals were often engraved with detailed depictions of animals, such as unicorns, elephants, and tigers, alongside intricate script, which remains largely undeciphered. While the exact purpose of these seals remains a mystery, they were likely used to authenticate goods, serve as trade markers, and indicate ownership or origin. The seals have been found at sites across the Indus Valley, as well as in foreign regions, pointing to the far-reaching impact of Indus trade and the importance of these seals as a form of identification in cross-border transactions. The exchange of goods included commodities like cotton, which was likely one of the civilization's primary exports, along with beads, metals, and precious stones. Archaeological evidence suggests that the people of the Indus Valley were skilled craftsmen, creating beautifully intricate jewelry and textiles that were highly valued in distant markets. They traded materials such as lapis lazuli, carnelian, and turquoise, which were sourced from regions far beyond the Indus Valley itself, showcasing the sophisticated nature of their trade networks. In return, the Indus Valley received materials like copper, tin, and luxury items such as Mesopotamian pottery and textiles, further enriching their culture and economy. The role of trade was pivotal in shaping the growth and influence of the civilization. Not only did it provide access to vital resources like metals and timber, which were essential for manufacturing tools and weapons, but it also facilitated the exchange of ideas, technologies, and cultural practices. The Indus people, for example, are believed to have been exposed to the concepts of writing and architectural styles from neighboring civilizations like Mesopotamia, and in turn, they influenced the regions they traded with, particularly in areas like urban planning and metallurgy. Trade was central to the very structure of the Indus Valley cities. The prosperity of settlements like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro can be directly linked to their strategic positions along key trade routes. The urban centers acted as hubs of commerce, bustling with merchants and traders who exchanged goods in well-organized marketplaces. The civilization's ability to maintain such a vast and intricate trade network not only fueled its economic success, but also cemented its place as one of the world's most influential ancient civilizations, leaving a lasting impact on the cultures and societies it interacted with. The Indus Valley Civilization, despite its relative isolation in terms of written records, maintained intricate and far-reaching interactions with neighboring civilizations such as Mesopotamia, Persia, and other contemporary cultures. These interactions were crucial in shaping the Indus Valley's cultural and economic development, fostering a complex network of trade, diplomacy, and perhaps even military exchanges. One of the most significant aspects of the Indus Valley's relationship with neighboring civilizations was trade. Archaeological evidence reveals that goods from the Indus Valley made their way into Mesopotamia, Persia, and beyond. The Indus Valley traded valuable commodities such as beads, textiles, and metals, while receiving luxury items like lapis lazuli, timber, and copper from distant lands. The trade routes were not only economic arteries but also conduits for the exchange of ideas and technologies. The shared knowledge of metallurgy, for example, appears to have passed from Mesopotamia to the Indus Valley, where it was utilized to craft tools and ornaments with exceptional skill. Diplomatic exchanges are also evidenced by the presence of Indus seals in Mesopotamia and vice versa. The seals, often inscribed with the Indus script and unique animal motifs, suggest that they were used as identifiers or signatures, potentially for trade or diplomatic purposes. This implies that the people of the Indus Valley may have had formal relationships with Mesopotamian rulers, engaging in exchanges that went beyond mere trade. These diplomatic ties likely helped stabilize and grow the economic prosperity of both regions, fostering mutual benefits. Persia, which lay to the northwest of the Indus Valley, also played a role in the civilization's external relationships. While direct evidence of interactions between the Indus Valley and Persia is limited, the proximity of these two great cultures suggests that there was some form of exchange. The Persian Gulf, serving as a vital maritime route, likely facilitated trade between the Indus Valley and the lands to the west. Evidence of Persian pottery in the Indus Valley suggests cultural diffusion and a shared appreciation for craftsmanship, highlighting the extent of this cross-cultural interaction. Cultural diffusion is another significant aspect of the relationships between the Indus Valley and its neighbors. It is believed that the Indus Valley's urban planning and architectural techniques may have influenced other civilizations in the region, particularly in the organization of cities and the development of drainage systems. Similarly, the Indus Valley's advanced understanding of weights and measures, which is evidenced by their standardized systems, likely had an impact on trade practices in Mesopotamia and other areas. While the Indus Valley Civilization remains shrouded in mystery, its interactions with neighboring cultures were undoubtedly essential in shaping its development. Whether through trade, diplomacy, or shared technologies, the exchanges between the Indus Valley and the civilizations of Mesopotamia, Persia, and others contributed to a broader cultural landscape with lasting impacts on the ancient world. These interactions allowed the Indus Valley to thrive, influencing not only the region itself, but also the wider ancient world. The transition from the Indus Valley Civilization to the Vedic period marks a profound shift in the cultural and social fabric of the Indian subcontinent. As the great cities of the Indus Valley declined, a new group of people, the Aryans, began migrating into the region. These migrations, occurring around 1500 BCE, brought with them not only new languages and religious beliefs, but also significant cultural transformations that would shape the future of the subcontinent for millennia. The arrival of the Aryans is traditionally associated with the Vedic period, named after the Vedas, the ancient religious texts composed in Sanskrit. These texts, which form the foundation of Hindu philosophy, were the spiritual and cultural hallmark of the Aryans. Their arrival and settlement in the northwestern plains of India, particularly along the banks of the Sarasvati and the Indus rivers, marked the beginning of a new era. The Aryans, who were semi-nomadic pastoralists, had a distinct culture that contrasted sharply with the urbanized, settled societies of the Indus Valley. As the Aryans settled in the fertile plains, they encountered the remnants of the Indus Valley Civilization, which had already begun its decline. The impact of Aryan migrations on the region was complex, as they did not simply replace the old civilization but rather integrated with it, blending their traditions with those of the indigenous people. Evidence suggests that the Aryans adopted aspects of Indus Valley culture, such as certain religious practices and agricultural techniques. The relationship between the two groups was likely one of both competition and coexistence, with Aryan and Indus cultures influencing each other in various ways. The blending of old and new cultures is most evident in the religious practices that emerged during the Vedic period. While the Aryans brought their own pantheon of gods, based on nature and the forces of the cosmos, many of these deities bear striking similarities to the nature-based gods worshipped in the Indus Valley. The concept of fertility, which was central to the spiritual life of the Indus Valley people, also found its way into Aryan worship, with rituals related to crops, animals, and natural cycles. Socially and politically, the arrival of the Aryans introduced a new system of organization, with the development of the Varna system, which later evolved into the caste system. This hierarchical structure, based on occupation and birth, contrasted with the more egalitarian or decentralized social structures of the Indus Valley. As the Aryans spread further east, they encountered new cultural influences, and over time, their society became increasingly integrated with the indigenous people of the region. Thus, the rise of the Aryans brought about a dynamic period of cultural fusion. The blending of Aryan and Indus Valley traditions created the foundation for what would become one of the world's most enduring civilizations, with influences that extended far beyond the Vedic period and shaped the course of Indian history for centuries. The Aryan migrations marked not the end of the Indus Valley civilization, but rather a transformation, a shift that integrated the old and the new into a complex and vibrant cultural tapestry. The decline and fall of the great cities of the Indus Valley civilization remains one of the most intriguing mysteries in the study of ancient history. Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, once thriving urban centers, slowly faded into obscurity, leaving behind only the ruins of what were once advanced societies. The reasons behind their collapse are still debated by historians, archaeologists, and environmental scientists, with a combination of natural disasters, internal strife, and environmental shifts likely contributing to their downfall. The natural disasters that might have played a role in the fall of these cities are often linked to massive flooding, which would have been exacerbated by shifts in the river's course. The Indus River, vital to the civilization's survival, experienced periodic flooding, which could have caused significant damage to the city's infrastructure. Evidence from excavation sites reveals that some buildings and streets in Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa were abandoned in haste, with signs of destruction from water damage, suggesting that repeated floods might have overwhelmed the urban centers over time. The changing dynamics of the river, including its shifting course, could have displaced settlements, disrupting agriculture and trade routes. The river, once the lifeblood of the cities, may have become increasingly unreliable, causing widespread famine and economic distress. Beyond natural disasters, the role of climate change in the decline of the Indus Valley civilization cannot be overlooked. Scholars suggest that a gradual but significant shift in the climate may have triggered a long-term drought. This would have strained the agricultural system, which depended on the predictable flooding of the Indus River to irrigate the fields. The changing climate could have reduced the water available for irrigation, leading to crop failures and food shortages. Such environmental stress would have further compounded the difficulties faced by the urban centers, forcing people to abandon their homes in search of more sustainable livelihoods. Internal strife and the gradual breakdown of social and political structures might have also contributed to the collapse of Mohenjo-Daro, Harappa. As the economy faltered and food shortages became more common, social unrest could have spread, further destabilizing the once thriving communities. Evidence of fortifications and large organized settlements hints at a society capable of military defense, but it remains unclear whether internal conflicts or external threats caused the unraveling of these systems. What is certain, however, is that the sophisticated urban planning and centralized systems of governance that had once defined the cities began to falter in the face of mounting pressures. As the cities slowly crumbled, their people likely scattered across the surrounding regions, seeking refuge in smaller communities or migrating to more fertile areas. The decline of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa was not a singular event but a gradual fading. driven by a complex combination of environmental, social, and economic factors. While the ruins of these cities still stand as a testament to their once great civilizations, the causes of their disappearance remain shrouded in mystery, a story that is still being pieced together by scholars today. The transition from the Indus Valley Civilization to the Vedic period marked a profound shift in the cultural, social, and religious landscape of the Indian subcontinent. As the great urban centers of the Indus Valley gradually faded into ruin, new groups, most notably the Aryans, began to establish themselves in the region. The Aryans, migrating from the steppes of Central Asia, brought with them a new way of life, centered around pastoralism, oral traditions, and a distinct set of religious beliefs that would later form the foundation of Hinduism. The rise of the Aryans and their influence on the subcontinent heralded the beginning of the Vedic period. With the arrival of these new settlers, the cities of the Indus Valley, once the epitome of urban sophistication, were abandoned or forgotten, their once thriving streets and buildings overtaken by the encroaching wilderness. The transition from the well-planned urbanism of the Indus Valley to the pastoral, decentralized societies of the Aryans was not an abrupt break, but a gradual shift. The new Aryan societies were largely rural, with small settlements that evolved into powerful regional kingdoms over time. The Vedic texts, primarily the Rig Veda, began to be composed during this period, offering glimpses into the lives of the Aryans and their emerging social structures. In these early stages, the Aryans began to establish their dominance in the northern plains of India. The Vedic society was initially centered around the fire sacrifices and the worship of various deities. Over time, the religious practices and philosophical ideas of the Aryans became more complex, giving rise to the core concepts that would later evolve into Hinduism. Concepts like karma, dharma, and moksha began to take form during this period, influencing the social and spiritual fabric of India for centuries to come. The hymns and rituals of the Vedic texts, along with the development of caste systems, laid the groundwork for the rich spiritual and social hierarchy that would define Indian civilization in the centuries that followed. While the Aryans were spreading across the northern part of the subcontinent, the decline of the Indus Valley Civilization effectively led to its disappearance from the historical map. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, once centers of trade, culture, and governance, became little more than forgotten ruins, buried under centuries of dust and shifting landscapes. Though the Indus Valley's decline did not mark the immediate end of its cultural influence, it was the beginning of a new era. The memory of these ancient cities and their achievements gradually faded, replaced by the rise of the Vedic culture and the formation of regional kingdoms that would later contribute to the foundations of classical Indian civilization. In the aftermath of the collapse of the Indus Valley Civilization, the subcontinent saw the formation of new political and cultural entities. The decentralized kingdoms that emerged laid the foundation for the Indian subcontinent's complex history, eventually leading to the rise of empires such as the Maurya and Gupta dynasties. The legacy of the Indus Valley, though no longer visible in its cities, lived on in the cultural evolution that followed, particularly in the religious and philosophical ideas that would shape India's future. The Indus Valley's archaeological legacy has captivated historians, archaeologists, and researchers for over a century. The remnants of this ancient civilization, scattered across what is now modern-day Pakistan and India, provide invaluable insights into one of the most advanced and enigmatic cultures of the ancient world. From the bustling streets of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro to the quiet ruins of smaller settlements, the ongoing excavations continue to unveil a complex and vibrant society that flourished long before the rise of other ancient civilizations. Among the most significant archaeological sites are Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, which have yielded some of the most important discoveries about the Indus Valley. Both cities were meticulously planned, with grid-like street patterns, sophisticated drainage systems, and public structures that suggest a highly organized urban society. Excavations at Mohenjo-Daro, for example, have uncovered the Great Bath, which is believed to have had ritual significance, and numerous seals depicting animals and gods that offer clues about the spiritual and economic life of the people. Harappa, similarly, has provided evidence of an advanced culture with well-preserved pottery, figurines, and tools that reflect the daily lives of its inhabitants. These sites, however, are only the beginning of the Indus Valley's rich archaeological tapestry. In recent years, ongoing excavation projects at other sites such as Lothal, Dholavira, and Kalibangan have added to our understanding of the Indus Valley Civilization. Lothal, located near the Gulf of Khumbat, has revealed a dockyard, which suggests that it was a significant center for maritime trade. Dholavira, one of the largest and most well-preserved sites in India, has uncovered an intricate water management system that highlights the Indus Valley's sophisticated approach to irrigation and water storage. Kalibangan, on the other hand, has provided evidence of early agricultural practices and possible evidence of fire altars, which some suggest may have had ritual significance. These discoveries are piecing together the broader picture of a civilization that was not only technologically advanced, but also deeply connected to its environment and trade networks. The significance of these archaeological efforts, in modern times, extends beyond simply uncovering the past. As more sites are excavated and analyzed, archaeologists are continually refining their understanding of the Indus Valley Civilization's complexity. The ongoing study of its language, urban planning, religious practices, and social structures is challenging long-held assumptions about ancient societies and their development. Moreover, these discoveries are helping to shape broader conversations about early urbanization, trade networks, and the connections between ancient cultures. In a world that is increasingly focused on understanding the impact of past civilizations on modern life, the Indus Valley offers a wealth of knowledge that remains as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. In many ways, the archaeology of the Indus Valley Civilization is still in its infancy. Each new excavation brings with it fresh mysteries to unravel, and the site of Mohenjo-Daro, along with others, continues to intrigue researchers who are keen to unlock the secrets of this ancient world. As technology advances and more resources are dedicated to this field, the next generation of archaeologists may uncover even more remarkable discoveries, allowing us to understand more fully how the Indus Valley Civilization laid the foundation for future cultures across Asia and beyond. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, the two primary cities of the Indus Valley Civilization, remain central to our understanding of ancient urbanization, technological advancement, and cultural development. Their discovery over a century ago revolutionized the study of ancient societies, and they continue to shape archaeological practices today. The meticulous planning of these cities, with their advanced drainage systems, grid-like street patterns, and public baths, is an enduring testament to the sophistication of the Indus Valley people. Yet, these cities also pose significant challenges to modern archaeologists, particularly in the fields of preservation and restoration. The preservation of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro is a complex and ongoing challenge. Both sites have been subjected to centuries of erosion, looting, and natural disasters. Harappa, for example, lies in a region that is particularly prone to flooding, and the rising water table has caused significant damage to its structures. Similarly, Mohenjo-Daro faces its own set of preservation issues. The site has been impacted by the wear and tear of time, including a series of floods that have buried many parts of the city beneath layers of silt. Moreover, the excavation and exposure of these ancient ruins to the elements require careful planning to avoid further deterioration. As a result, there are constant efforts to strike a balance between exposing the sites for study and preserving them for future generations. Ongoing efforts to preserve these cities involve scientific techniques like laser scanning and 3D modeling to document the sites accurately without causing further damage. In addition to these physical preservation issues, there is the challenge of understanding the cultural and social context of these cities. Archaeologists continue to face difficulties in deciphering the Indus Valley script, a key to unlocking the full history of the civilization. Despite numerous attempts to decipher this ancient script, its meaning remains elusive, complicating the understanding of the people who built these cities. The ongoing mystery surrounding the script limits our ability to fully comprehend the culture, beliefs, and daily life of the Indus Valley people. Nevertheless, the study of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro has advanced in other areas, such as their urban planning, engineering feats, and artistic achievements, which continue to inspire modern scholars and practitioners in fields like architecture and urban design. The legacy of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro is not limited to the physical remnants of their cities. These ancient urban centers have fundamentally reshaped our understanding of ancient history, particularly in the context of early urban civilizations. They challenge traditional narratives of ancient history, offering evidence of complex, decentralized societies that were capable of sophisticated organization and technological innovation. The cities of the Indus Valley also stand as reminders of the possibilities and limitations of ancient urban planning. As the study of these sites continues, their influence will undoubtedly remain a guiding force in archaeological research, ensuring that the Indus Valley civilization's contributions to human history are never forgotten. The Harappan civilization was a remarkable example of technological ingenuity that has fascinated historians, archaeologists, and engineers for over a century. One of the most striking aspects of Harappan society was its advanced metallurgy, which enabled the production of high-quality tools, jewelry, and other items. The Harappans had mastered the art of working with bronze, copper, and other metals, creating durable and efficient products. They were also adept at casting and forging techniques that allowed them to create intricate designs in metalwork, showcasing a high level of craftsmanship. These achievements in metallurgy were integral not only to their daily life, but also to their expanding trade networks. As these metals were valuable commodities exchanged with neighboring regions, equally impressive were the Harappans' systems of measurement, which were among the most precise of the ancient world. Archaeological evidence reveals that they used standardized weights and measures, which facilitated trade and commerce across vast distances. The use of uniform weights helped ensure fairness in exchanges, and the well-established measurement systems likely played a crucial role in the city's organization and economic success. The standardization of measurements extended to architectural projects as well, where precise planning was necessary to maintain the city's grid-like structure. This meticulous attention to detail in measurement laid the foundation for future civilizations to develop their own systems of standardization in commerce and construction. Perhaps the most captivating technological achievement of the Harappan civilization is their urban water management systems, which were ahead of their time. The Harappans developed an extensive and sophisticated water supply and drainage system that supported their large urban populations. The most famous example of this ingenuity is the Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro, which suggests the importance of water in both practical and ritual contexts. This large, public bath was expertly constructed with an advanced waterproofing system, indicating that the Harappans not only understood the value of cleanliness and hygiene, but also possessed the engineering knowledge to build such a structure in an era long before modern plumbing systems. The bath is thought to have served both as a communal space for bathing and as a symbol of social and religious life. Alongside the Great Bath, the cities of the Harappan civilization boasted an intricate network of drains, wells, and reservoirs, all of which played a key role in maintaining public health and urban infrastructure. These systems were designed to ensure the efficient movement of water and the disposal of waste, reflecting an understanding of sanitation that was unparalleled in the ancient world. The Harappans' ability to manage water in such an advanced way demonstrates a deep understanding of their environment and the resources necessary to sustain a large, urban population. These technological breakthroughs continue to inspire awe and admiration. Modern engineers and urban planners often look to the Harappan civilization for lessons in sustainable development, water management, and the integration of technology into everyday life. The technological innovations of the Harappans, particularly their mastery of metallurgy, measurement systems, and water infrastructure, remain a testament to the civilization's advanced understanding of science and engineering. These achievements stand as a reminder of how far early human societies were able to go in harnessing technology for the betterment of their communities, leaving behind a legacy that continues to shape the way we think about the relationship between ancient societies and technological progress. The Indus Valley Civilization holds profound cultural significance in both modern-day India and Pakistan, serving as a foundational symbol of the rich history that stretches back thousands of years. It is more than just an ancient civilization to these nations. It is a source of pride, a reminder of the early advances in urbanization, trade, and technology that laid the groundwork for the development of South Asia. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, alongside the wider expanse of the civilization, are not only markers of human achievement, but also a shared heritage that transcends national borders. Today, these sites are integral to both countries' cultural narratives, offering a direct connection to their ancient past. In India and Pakistan, the Indus Valley's cultural importance is reflected in how it informs their respective national identities. The civilization's contributions in areas like urban planning, sanitation, and metallurgy are sources of pride, with many viewing these achievements as a testament to the intellectual and cultural prowess of their ancient ancestors. In particular, the art, architecture, and technological advancements of the Indus people continue to inspire modern thought and are woven into the broader fabric of the region's cultural heritage. The shared heritage of the Indus Valley, despite the political boundaries that now separate India and Pakistan, remains a point of unity, emphasizing a common past in a region often marked by division. The preservation of Indus Valley heritage sites is an ongoing challenge, given the erosion of time and the pressures of modern development. Both India and Pakistan have taken steps to protect the ancient ruins, though the effectiveness of these measures has varied. International organizations, alongside local governments and archaeologists, continue to push for stronger protection and conservation efforts to ensure the survival of these precious historical sites. At Mohenjo-Daro, for example, preservation work has been undertaken to mitigate the impact of environmental degradation, with efforts focused on preventing further damage to the structures and surrounding areas. The site, along with others in the Indus Valley, has been recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, marking its global significance and the need for concerted efforts to safeguard it for future generations. The Indus Valley's role in shaping modern-day India and Pakistan is not just about preserving ancient ruins. It is about fostering a deeper understanding of shared history and the cultural continuities that have shaped these nations. As both countries continue to evolve in the modern world, the memory of the Indus Valley civilization serves as a symbol of resilience, creativity, and innovation that has endured through millennia. From art and architecture to trade and technology, the legacy of the Indus people endures in the very foundations of both countries, reminding their citizens of the ancient ties that connect them to a remarkable and shared past. The civilization's enduring influence on their national identity is a testament to the lasting impact of these early achievements on the cultural consciousness of both nations. The collapse of the Indus Valley civilization has long been a subject of intrigue and debate among historians and archaeologists. Despite the remarkable achievements of the civilization in urban planning, trade, and technology, its decline remains an enigma. Over the years, various theories have been proposed to explain this downfall, with some focusing on internal factors, others on environmental changes, and still others on potential external threats. One prominent theory suggests that internal decay contributed significantly to the collapse. This theory posits that the once highly organized cities of the Indus Valley may have faced challenges in governance and social structure. As the civilization expanded, the complexity of managing such large, sophisticated cities could have led to inefficiencies and internal strife. There is evidence of changing settlement patterns and the disappearance of certain urban features, which some scholars interpret as signs of social upheaval or political instability. The possible weakening of central authority might have left the civilization vulnerable to other forces, both internal and external. Environmental changes are another key factor, believed to have played a critical role in the collapse of the Indus Valley. Archaeological studies suggest that climate change during this period may have drastically altered the environment. The region, once lush and supported by a well-watered landscape, may have experienced significant droughts or shifts in the course of the Indus River. The changing river patterns, coupled with arid conditions, could have led to the collapse of agricultural systems that were the backbone of the civilization's economy. Evidence of shifting monsoon patterns and water scarcity in the region supports this theory, which suggests that environmental stress could have driven people to abandon the cities in search of more sustainable living conditions. External threats, including invasions or migration, are also frequently cited as potential causes of the Indus Valley's collapse. Some historians have speculated that the arrival of the Aryans, a nomadic group from the north, may have played a role in disrupting the stability of the Indus cities. While there is no direct evidence of military conflict between the Indus people and the Aryans, the timing of the collapse roughly coincides with the Aryan migrations into the subcontinent. The Aryans' different way of life and their potential military superiority could have contributed to the weakening of the Indus civilization. However, this theory remains contentious, as there is little concrete evidence of large-scale invasions. Ongoing research continues to explore the factors behind the collapse of the Indus Valley Civilization. Modern techniques such as satellite imagery and geological surveys are helping to uncover new insights into ancient environmental changes. Archaeologists are increasingly focusing on the relationship between the region's shifting landscapes, the decline in agricultural productivity, and the migration patterns of the Indus Valley's inhabitants. While no single theory can fully explain the fall of this ancient civilization, it is clear that the collapse was likely the result of a complex interplay of internal weaknesses, environmental shifts, and possibly external pressures. The mystery remains a compelling subject of study, offering valuable lessons on the fragility of even the most advanced societies. The Indus Valley Civilization, despite its remarkable achievements in urban planning, trade, and technology, remains one of the greatest mysteries in the field of archaeology. For decades, the civilization's sudden decline and the absence of deciphered written records have puzzled researchers and historians. What makes the Indus Valley so enigmatic is not just the sophistication of its cities or its widespread influence, but the fact that much of its story remains buried in the sands of time, waiting to be uncovered. A major source of the mystery lies in the still undecoded script of the Indus Valley. Despite numerous efforts by linguists, archaeologists, and cryptographers, no one has yet been able to read the script, which appears on seals, pottery, and other artifacts. This script, consisting of small characters, could potentially offer valuable insight into the civilization's language, culture, and even the reasons behind its decline. However, with no Rosetta Stone equivalent to unlock its meaning, the script remains a silent witness to an ancient world, frustrating attempts to fully understand the people who created it. Another unresolved question that continues to intrigue researchers is the precise cause of the civilization's collapse. While many theories have been proposed ranging from environmental shifts, internal social collapse, to external invasions, no single explanation has been universally accepted. The lack of concrete evidence has left these theories largely speculative, and the absence of written records or inscriptions documenting the downfall further complicates efforts to understand what happened. How a civilization so advanced could suddenly fade away remains a question that scholars are still striving to answer. The mystery extends to the broader cultural and societal aspects of the Indus Valley. Despite extensive excavations, there are few clues regarding their religious practices, social structures, and daily life. Artifacts such as seals and statues suggest that religion played a significant role in their society, but the exact nature of their beliefs remains unknown. Did they worship deities similar to those found in later Indian traditions, or did they have their own unique spiritual framework? The lack of concrete answers makes the Indus Valley an intriguing puzzle in the study of ancient cultures. Modern technology and methods are slowly helping to unlock the secrets of the Indus Valley. Advances in satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar, and DNA analysis are providing new ways to explore and analyze ancient sites without the need for intrusive excavation. Satellite imagery, for example, has allowed archaeologists to discover previously unknown settlements, while DNA analysis of ancient remains offers insights into migration patterns and potential links between the Indus Valley and other ancient cultures. These new tools are beginning to piece together a clearer picture of the Indus Valley, yet much of its story remains out of reach. Despite the many mysteries that still surround the Indus Valley, ongoing research offers hope that one day the lost civilization will be fully understood. As technology continues to evolve, so too does our ability to unlock the secrets of one of the most advanced societies of the ancient world. Until then, the Indus Valley remains an enduring enigma, its history waiting to be fully revealed. The preservation of Indus Valley heritage has become a critical concern for archaeologists, historians, and governments in both India and Pakistan. As the remnants of this ancient civilization are scattered across vast regions, efforts to protect and restore these sites are vital for understanding one of the world's earliest urban societies. Mohenjo-Daro, Harappa, and other sites provide invaluable insights into early urbanization, trade, and technological advancements. However, these sites face significant threats from natural erosion, urban encroachment, and, in some cases, political instability. Without proper preservation, the remnants of the Indus Valley civilization could be lost forever, leaving only fragmented memories of its once great cities. To address these challenges, numerous preservation efforts are underway, though they are far from simple. The sites require ongoing conservation and careful management to prevent the irreversible damage caused by the elements and human activity. For example, at Mohenjo-Daro, the frequent exposure to flooding, combined with the slow decay of the structures, has prompted efforts to restore and reinforce the ancient buildings. However, the process is complex and requires delicate work to ensure that any restoration is historically accurate. Protecting these sites also involves safeguarding them from encroaching modern development. Urban growth and agricultural expansion threaten many ancient sites, so zoning regulations and land management practices are necessary to preserve these areas for future generations. The global significance of the Indus Valley civilization cannot be overstated. As one of the earliest and most advanced urban societies, it provides critical insights into the development of complex social structures, trade networks, and technological innovations. The sites are not only important to India and Pakistan, but to the world at large, as they contribute to our broader understanding of early human civilization. In an increasingly globalized world, the Indus Valley's legacy is a shared heritage, and its preservation holds immense cultural and educational value. International collaborations have played a crucial role in preserving this ancient legacy. UNESCO, through its World Heritage Programme, has been involved in efforts to designate Indus Valley sites as World Heritage Sites, which helps to attract funding, increase awareness, and facilitate international cooperation. Moreover, partnerships between archaeological institutions from various countries have enabled advanced research and technology to be brought to the region, aiding in the study and protection of these sites. Collaborative efforts also involve training local experts and providing the necessary tools for effective site management. These international collaborations are essential in preserving not only the physical sites, but also the knowledge that we continue to gain from them. In the end, preserving the heritage of the Indus Valley is not just about maintaining ancient ruins, it's about safeguarding the story of humanity's early achievements. The efforts to protect and study these sites contribute to a deeper understanding of our collective past and help ensure that the Indus Valley's remarkable contributions to civilization are not forgotten. Through continued collaboration and dedication, the ancient cities of the Indus Valley will continue to inspire future generations, offering a window into the early foundations of urban life and human ingenuity. The Indus Valley Civilization, though ancient, has left a lasting impact on modern life, influencing various aspects of culture, technology, and governance. While the civilization itself faded into history long ago, its contributions continue to shape the world we live in today. One of the most enduring legacies of the Indus Valley is its advanced urban planning. The grid-like city layouts, sophisticated drainage systems, and standardized brick sizes laid the foundation for modern urban development. In cities around the world, from New York to Tokyo, the principles of organized city planning and sanitation can trace their roots back to the Indus Valley. These early urban planners understood the importance of order, cleanliness, and functionality values that continue to resonate in today's cities. Trade was another cornerstone of the Indus Valley Civilization that has left a profound mark on modern economies. The Indus Valley was home to one of the earliest and most extensive trade networks in the ancient world, connecting regions as distant as Mesopotamia, the Persian Gulf, and Central Asia. The use of standardized weights and measures, as well as trade seals, reflects an early form of economic regulation that helped to ensure fair exchanges. In modern times, the principles of international trade, the importance of standardized systems for weights and measures, and the development of trade routes are integral to global commerce. The lessons of the Indus Valley, in terms of trade logistics, fairness, and regulation, continue to inform modern practices in supply chain management and cross-border commerce. Furthermore, the Indus Valley's system of governance, while not fully understood, provides important insights into the management of large urban societies. The organization of work, the regulation of resources, and the possible use of centralized control are concepts that modern governments still grapple with today. Although there is no definitive evidence of kings or a centralized monarchy in the Indus Valley, the presence of large-scale urban planning, coordinated infrastructure, and complex trade systems suggests an advanced form of governance. In today's world, many countries face challenges in managing large, diverse populations and resources. The Indus Valley's example of centralized planning, even in the absence of written records, offers valuable lessons in efficiency and coordination. The innovations in water management, including the Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro, also offer lessons for modern environmental sustainability. In an era where water conservation is increasingly critical due to climate change, the Indus Valley's expertise in managing water resources serves as a reminder of the importance of sustainable practices. Their understanding of the relationship between urban life and the environment highlights the need for careful stewardship of natural resources, a concept that is more relevant now than ever before. In looking at the legacy of the Indus Valley Civilization, we can see how their advancements in urban planning, trade, governance, and sustainability continue to influence the modern world. By learning from their successes and their failures, we can apply lessons from the past to create more efficient, sustainable, and equitable societies today. The Indus Valley may have been lost to time, but its spirit of innovation and organization endures in the fabric of our modern world. The rise and fall of the Indus Valley Civilization offers profound lessons that resonate across time, providing valuable insights into the dynamics of human societies. One of the most crucial lessons from the Indus Valley is the importance of environmental stewardship. The civilization thrived in a region rich in natural resources, with the Indus River serving as a vital lifeline for agriculture, trade, and daily life. However, the eventual decline of the civilization is often linked to shifts in the environment, whether through changes in the course of the river, drought, or deforestation. The collapse of such an advanced society serves as a powerful reminder of how fragile civilizations can be in the face of environmental challenges. Today, as climate change accelerates, the need for sustainable practices and careful management of natural resources is more urgent than ever. Another lesson that the Indus Valley teaches us is the significance of trade and economic connections in sustaining a civilization. The Indus Valley's extensive trade networks, spanning from Mesopotamia to the Persian Gulf, were instrumental in its growth and prosperity. These networks facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies, creating a dynamic economy that could withstand many challenges. However, the disruption of trade routes, likely due to the changing geography and the decline of the urban centers, may have contributed to the civilization's downfall. The interdependence fostered through trade was both a strength and a vulnerability. In the modern world, this lesson reminds us of the importance of maintaining stable, resilient economic systems and international relationships. A society that depends too heavily on fragile trade networks or lacks economic diversity may find itself at risk when external factors shift. Cultural preservation is another critical lesson that the Indus Valley offers. Despite the apparent sophistication of the society, much of its written language remains undeciphered, and much of its culture has been lost to time. The disappearance of this once thriving civilization raises questions about the preservation of cultural heritage and knowledge. The Indus Valley's downfall highlights the fragility of cultural continuity, particularly when societies face political instability, environmental shifts, or external threats. In our modern world, as we face the erosion of languages, traditions, and historical sites, it is essential to understand the importance of cultural preservation. The rise and fall of the Indus Valley reminds us that the heritage of a civilization, its language, art, and traditions, can easily slip through our fingers unless active efforts are made to safeguard them. Lastly, the unexpected decline of the Indus Valley civilization underscores the vulnerability of even the most advanced societies. It serves as a sobering reminder that no civilization, no matter how advanced or powerful, is immune to decline. The Indus Valley, with its remarkable urban planning, trade systems, and technological advancements, seemed invincible, yet it too faced insurmountable challenges that led to its eventual collapse. This teaches us that progress and innovation, while crucial, cannot guarantee a society's longevity. Societies must remain adaptable and resilient in the face of unforeseen challenges, whether environmental, social, or economic. In examining the rise and fall of the Indus Valley civilization, we are reminded of the need for balance between growth and environmental care, between prosperity and sustainability, and between technological progress and cultural preservation. These lessons continue to hold relevance as we navigate the complexities of our own world. The future of Indus Valley studies holds immense promise, with many mysteries still waiting to be uncovered. Despite the significant archaeological discoveries made over the past century, much about this ancient civilization remains elusive. Researchers continue to piece together the puzzle of the Indus Valley, and advances in technology and methodology promise to bring new insights that could radically change our understanding of this remarkable society. In recent years, the use of non-invasive technologies has revolutionized archaeological practices. Techniques such as ground-penetrating radar, aerial surveys, and LiDAR, light detection and ranging, have allowed researchers to explore sites without the need for extensive digging. These technologies can reveal hidden structures and urban layouts beneath the surface, potentially uncovering parts of the Indus Valley cities that have remained buried for millennia. The application of these tools has already led to the discovery of previously unknown settlements, providing a more comprehensive picture of the civilization's extent and development. As these methods become more refined, they offer a less destructive way to map out the entire region, ensuring that valuable data is preserved for future generations. Another exciting development is the ongoing efforts to decode the Indus script. Despite decades of study, the script has remained one of the greatest mysteries in archaeology. Advances in computational linguistics and the use of artificial intelligence may eventually unlock the secrets of this ancient writing system. Researchers are hopeful that patterns in the script will emerge that will allow for a translation key to be created. If successful, this breakthrough would provide a wealth of knowledge about the Indus Valley's political, social, and religious structures, adding an entirely new dimension to our understanding of their civilization. In addition to these technological advancements, studies of climate change and environmental shifts may provide key insights into the collapse of the Indus Valley. As scientists study ancient climate patterns, it becomes clearer that environmental factors such as shifts in the monsoon cycle, droughts, or river changes may have played a crucial role in the decline of the civilization. Future studies that combine climate data with archaeological findings could shed light on how the Indus people adapted to their changing environment and what role environmental stress played in their eventual disappearance. The potential for new discoveries in the Indus Valley is vast. Excavations may uncover new cities, artifacts, or burial sites that could reveal previously unknown aspects of daily life, trade, or religion. There is also the possibility of uncovering further evidence of contact with other ancient civilizations, which could reshape our understanding of trade and cultural exchange in the ancient world. Each new finding has the potential to rewrite portions of history, deepening our knowledge of this fascinating and enigmatic civilization. As technology advances, the study of the Indus Valley Civilization is poised to take exciting new directions. These discoveries may not only illuminate the mysteries of the past, but could also provide valuable lessons for future generations about sustainability, urban planning, and cultural preservation. With continued research and innovation, the future of Indus Valley studies promises to be as groundbreaking as the civilization itself. The Indus Valley Civilization, despite its enigmatic disappearance thousands of years ago, continues to inspire and inform us today in ways that are both profound and subtle. As one of the world's earliest urban societies, it laid the groundwork for many aspects of modern life, from urban planning and engineering to trade and craftsmanship. Its impressive cities, well-planned infrastructure, and sophisticated technology demonstrate a level of organization and innovation that remains relevant even in the present day. The remnants of the Indus Valley remind us of humanity's enduring capacity for creativity, resilience, and adaptability. Even in the face of environmental challenges and social change, the mystery surrounding the Indus Valley is one of its most captivating aspects. Even though much has been uncovered, questions remain that continue to intrigue archaeologists, historians, and the general public alike. What caused the civilization to decline so suddenly? What was the nature of its script, and what did it communicate about their culture? These unresolved questions add to the allure of the civilization, making it a subject of constant study and debate. The possibility that future discoveries could answer these questions only heightens the sense of wonder surrounding the Indus Valley, keeping it at the forefront of archaeological research. Despite its disappearance, the legacy of the Indus Valley Civilization lives on through its influence on later societies, particularly in South Asia. Many of its practices and technologies found their way into the subsequent cultures that emerged in the region, particularly those of the Vedic period. The emphasis on trade, the reverence for water and fertility, and the focus on urban organization all echo in later civilizations. Additionally, the study of the Indus Valley continues to offer valuable lessons in sustainability, especially in the context of urban development and environmental stewardship. In a world facing rapid urbanization and environmental crises, the ancient strategies and solutions employed by the Indus Valley offer inspiration for contemporary challenges. In closing, the enduring impact of the Indus Valley Civilization lies in its ability to transcend time. Though its people are long gone, their achievements continue to shape our understanding of early urban societies and the complex relationships between environment, culture, and technology. The civilization's enduring mystery keeps it relevant, offering endless opportunities for discovery and reflection. The legacy of the Indus Valley reminds us that even the most ancient civilizations, though lost to history, leave behind traces of their wisdom that can still guide and inspire us today. It stands as a testament to the lasting power of human innovation, creativity, and resilience, echoing through the centuries.